Hey guys, welcome to episode 220 of 4PlayAnimecast. We are finally starting up the spring 2023 anime reviews for the season. It is mid-April, 15th of April 2023, 10 p.m. or 10:10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time over on the East Coast of the United States. I've had a pretty warm day today, but apparently tomorrow it's gonna, at least over here where I live, tomorrow it's going to rain, and then on Monday they say it's gonna snow. So I don't know what the fuck's going on. But it is what it is. But yeah, I am your host, Spire, and with me are my compatriots. Thankfully, everybody is here this time. Near,
Hello.
Toast,
What?
and Dark.
Hello.
All right, let's go over our past 2 weeks very briefly, starting again with Nier. What do you have for us?
Um, I've been playing Shadowverse.
All the Shadowverse.
Yeah. Um, yeah, it's pretty cool. We're currently in a solid dog shit awful meta. Um,
Isn't
where
that the constant state of the game?
yeah, but it's like it's really bad this time. I forget what the what the stats were, but so there's two decks right now, right? Like
Mhm.
just on like the Apex. Um, and one of the recent tournaments, I forget if it was Rage or something else, but basically so like the two decks right now are like Blood and Forest. Um,
Mhm.
and I think it was like out of like 160 something like competitors, like 159 of them brought Blood, right? And then like 140 of them brought Forest.
The classic.
So really good diversity going on
Mhm.
with the decks right now. They also like when they launched the X Pack, they did like 2 days after the launch, they did like these weird emergency nerfs that affected none of the cards that were in any of the decks that are like really strong. So I
What?
don't really know
Okay.
why they did that. Um, but yeah, they have been fucking radio silent since, which is really weird. But
Nice.
yeah, it's pretty bad right now. It's pretty grim. But Hatsune Miku's in the game, so there's that. Um,
Sune Miku.
pretty awesome.
It's a
Fun.
game's going strong or a brand's going strong when they collab with Hatsune Miku.
Of course, yeah. Um, but yeah, other than that, too much. Um, I beat Resident Evil 4 remake. Um, that game is good. And has soul. Um,
Oh, like what
No, it
some
doesn't.
other
No, it
people would
doesn't.
say.
You're a liar.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, soul is when you can look up girls' skirts actually.
That's
Um,
Nice.
true. That is true.
That's
yeah,
the only
Like
way you can tell that Nier was a good game, by the way.
yeah, it's true.
that's
There's an
only
achievement
soul
for
is when
that
you can look up
actually.
girl skirts and when the Hispanic guy is misogynist.
Yep, it's true. Um, other than that, not too much.
Okay.
Just keeping up with stuff. Um, yeah, pretty lazy, but yeah.
Hmm. All right. Thank you, Nier. What about you, Toast?
Well,
Past 2 weeks, anything been going on with regards
I've been
to?
busy. Too busy. I'm tired.
Okay.
I've only gotten several hours of sleep for the last two
Uh,
weeks. I'm tired.
hmm Yeah,
Tough.
Toast has been running around a little bit busy, I think, with real life stuff. Just going around here and there, I think. So,
The
watch anything interesting anime wise, or
what
just
anime? I don't
mainly
know.
running around?
What? Yeah.
Uh, keep
Yeah.
no.
What?
Yeah. All watch anything interesting anime wise, or just mainly running around?
Why does this season have some of the best openings and endings in a long time? Probably candidate for
There's some really good OPs this season.
Yeah. It's
probably
actually pretty
candidates for
surprising.
best this year.
It's like I thought the season where Urusei Yatsura was in was a pretty good season for like openings and endings and stuff like that. But this season is also very, very good.
Yeah.
The Oshinoko, it's Yoasobi. It got 1 million
Sir.
views on the main channel in like 9 hours or less. That was fast when it came out. Oshinoko's all right, and then what is it? Magical Destroyer. That opening's
Yep.
as
Mhm.
Nier says, pretty kino.
It's pretty kino.
All the Kino.
I'm gonna be honest. Like Magical Destroyer's OP is for me already contender of like OP of the year. Like,
Does it give you
Nice.
those big Fooly Cooly vibes?
I mean, yeah, like the first half is very Fully, and then the second half is like it's got like this fucking Denpa like hardcore
Yep.
track going, with like really like shaft visuals. It's really it's super unique. Definitely one of the most interesting OPs I've seen in a long time,
Mhm.
What
and
else
it's
was
really well animated too.
It is. What else was pretty kino? Konosuba new opening, pretty good. Or no, opening or ending?
Its
I want to say
ED
ending.
is
Yeah,
way better. Its
pretty
ED
good.
is fucking rocks.
Yeah. Also the Witch from Mercury season 2 ED is extremely good as
Hmm.
well if you haven't seen that.
I think what this also speaks to is like in previous seasons, in a lot of previous seasons, there were a couple of series that got all the money, right? Like with Chainsaw Man or with Urusei Yatsura or whatnot. But this season, there's this good sort of spread of a bunch of seasons that or anime series that have the money, and so a lot of them have all these sort of interesting openings and endings. Sure, so
But Dark, to be fair, what Gundam series did not have a good opening or ending? So it's kind of obvious.
That. Yeah, I mean,
They got the money for it, so
yeah, it's true. They kind of all are good.
what else? Pretty kino. That new Canary song's good, I guess. I don't know the title. It's in Japanese. I don't speak Japanese, or do I? Spire, what's the new Canary song called?
I have no idea.
You don't keep up with Canaria?
I know it came out. I just don't know what it
It
is.
says Google Translate or YouTube Translate tells me it's Requiem. It's all right. I feel like I've heard that singer before though, so I don't know.
But yeah. All right. So mainly just watching the season stuff, and I'm again. You have a couple of stuff that lined up for the season that you're going to be talking to us about. One is one that is going to be coming out this episode. So I guess that's that.
But Spire, who had the best April Fools?
What do you mean by who?
Who had the best April Fool's joke
For?
in general?
I don't know. I didn't have a lot of. What was it? There was there were like a couple of streamers who are just like, "Oh, I'm going to show my face, or I'm gonna do like a face reveal," and then like they just had somebody else do it or whatever as like an April Fool's joke. Like other than that, I didn't really watch too many of those like April Fool's stuff, so I don't know.
My toss.
My favorite April Fool's jokes are always when game developers are like, "Hey, wouldn't it be funny if we made this really cool, awesome thing that people would like a lot?"
Nah, fuck
And
you.
then they go, "Haha, April Fools, just kidding."
I didn't.
That's
I
always
thankfully did not see. I think any of
yeah,
those this year.
Imagine if we made good games.
yeah, pretty much. Or like
My
imagine if we added this feature that would be really good to the game.
Yeah.
Just kidding. Funny, right?
Hey, fuck you.
Yeah.
My favorite April Fools is a toss-up between the maintenance song and the sweet potato song. That was pretty good. But you know what those are, right?
No.
The Viva Happy sweet potato song. Dark knows what's up.
I don't know what you're talking about.
From Otto.
What?
What?
Oh, on her channel? Okay, let's see.
Yes, the one where she did the sweet potato song and she sang she was all 4 or 5 roles.
Oh, this one. Okay, yeah, no, I know.
I
Yeah,
don't know.
okay.
Oh
Is
yeah.
this an original or was this like Swing to a VN? I don't know. Then the Hoshimachi Suisei maintenance song, pretty good.
Mhm.
Pretty good.
I honestly like the Suisei Komet-chan
Wow, you
one
pervert.
the best. I had a lot of respect for her because she managed to do it for like essentially the entire stream without really breaking down. But
Are you
that's
excited
another.
for what Marine's up to nowadays? Did you see her
What is
latest stream?
What is she doing?
She had HoloLive members VA her cursed Black History RPG Maker game that she made,
Oh my
That's pretty
god.
good.
and then
That's fucking good.
she's apparently hiring professional VAs to do
That's
them
pretty
next.
good.
So get to see some what's her name? What's her name? She's friends with Marine. We might see some Aoyuki in there. Just saying.
Okay, that'd be pretty
So
good.
I think deadline's at 21st, so we'll see that. It's in a week. That's
Okay.
pretty soon.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to that. All right. So I guess that's with Toast. And what about you, Dark?
Fuck. I've been doing more Genshin, and making poor decisions. I've also been playing Tower Fantasy. So, signed up for the Weathering Waves beta, which I think is next week. So might be playing a little bit of that too. Trying to think of what else. Oh yeah, been malding in Fortnite because this season kind of sucks ass. Content wise, it's a shame because like content and mechanically, it's very cool. But balance wise and like meta wise with like what they did with only really like 3 parts of the map being relevant for loot. Because there's specific like guns that are extremely overpowered that like appear there and only there. It makes it really bad and really annoying, and it means that there are like 20 people alive only in like 5 minutes. So, that sucked, but yeah, I think other than that, trying to think, I beat the Star Wars game and prepped for the new Star Wars game. So that's gonna be cool. Yeah, and then just kind of just been, catching up on shows, catching up on Uma Musume as like kind of like the show I'm going back for, and also what's it called? Main
Wait,
Abyss.
why Uma Musume as in the anime instead of just at that point? I think you would almost be better served. I'm not saying you would be better served. You would almost be better served by just playing the
Playing
game,
the
right?
game?
Yeah,
I do
exactly.
not read runes, buddy. Okay, I can't read.
Aren't there like subversions of
you
the
know
commies or the stories online? Probably.
Oh,
if
maybe,
you
I don't know.
bring Uma Musume over to the West, it's gonna be sponsored by Crunchyroll. Do you want that to
And
happen?
it's only gonna
Yeah, I
last for
mean,
like 3 years.
if they, well, that's the question. I mean, I feel like now it's like the real question is like, is Cygames gonna do that? Because like they kind of
Wait, hold
know.
on. It
I
is
feel like they
Cygames.
might know now.
They have Shadowverse,
Yeah.
so no. They might.
So they might have learned their lesson with Precone real quick that like doing that is a fucking awful idea. So
Don't trust Crunchyroll. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, it was really sick how like Precone was
but
out in the
Crunchyroll-
West, and I consistently forgot that it was because Crunchyroll and like Sony like did not fucking advertise that at all. Yeah,
Yeah. I like how
But,
Crunchyroll is becoming. It's supposed to be sort of a dominant localization force in the Western market,
Lol.
and they
wow.
can't even fucking properly localize and market a single popular. Like Precode isn't even one of
Precone
those
is extremely popular. It's an extremely popular show in the West at this point.
Yeah,
Like,
and
like
it's
people
also
like
it's not
the
even
anime.
like it would be one thing if it's one of those, you know how Overlord or Danmachi got like some of those really shit ass obvious just make some money and then fuck
Cash
off
grab.
for like cash grab games for like 1 to 3 years or whatever in Japan, and only those Otaku Overlord or Danmachi fans would take it and run with it. It's not even like one of those, but Precoda is very big in Japan. Or not like FGO One Piece levels, obviously, but quite big as a mobile game in Japan and has staying power. And like they couldn't even get that to last 3. It didn't even last 3 years, right? It lasted like 2, 3.
I think it was
like
1.5, wasn't it?
For
one and a
what,
half.
Precone?
Yeah.
Or no, it's
I
going
think
to
it
shut
was-
down like 2 years and 1 month or something.
I think so.
Yeah,
But
something
yeah,
like that.
not too long.
Just ridiculous. Unbelievable.
Yeah, it's kind of nutty. I mean, really, what it's doing is it's essentially meant that, though. I mean, like Crunchyroll's track record was so bad that again, like going with Crunchyroll, like not to get too far off track, but like going with Crunchyroll, and I feel like again, Cygames should see this now is that like, and other companies probably will as well. Going with them as your publisher is literally just a death sentence at this point because like people see published by Crunchyroll and the first thing they think is, didn't they launch like 3 fucking mobile game like localizations now and all dying within like a year or two?
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like, why would I invest in
Keep
this?
in mind, by the way, when Precone launched, like the English version of Precone launched, it's like it's only advertisement and like media coverage, whereas people shitting on the translation on Twitter.
God.
Dude, that's
So-
awesome.
Just
Yeah.
That's really good. That's a good sign. But yeah, other than that, you know, I've also, oh yeah, that's also, I've been, you know, seeing all the fucking like Misaka Makoto specific artists on Twitter I follow playing like the fuck, what is it? The like index specific, like the Raildex specific mobile game. And I thank God every day. Yeah, I thank God every day that it's not localized, and it like will never be.
Wait, so she's actually like playing like the different, or she's like streaming it or whatever?
No. I'm saying like I follow like a bunch of art. I'm saying like I just follow like artists like
Okay.
Puma, like Rika. Literally like that is like they just kind of draw her and that's
Okay,
almost
okay.
exclusively what they do. And they all play that obviously. And they're just like, yeah,
Nice.
I rolled the 37th SSR Makoto in this game. And I'm like, wow, I'm really glad that I don't do that and can't. So I take a little bit of comfort in that. But yeah. Oh, I think that was actually probably the best April Fool's joke I saw this year was the April Fool's joke gender bent accelerator being added to the game, which I still haven't seen her voice lines, and if it's voiced by what's his name. It said it was voiced by him, so I'm wondering if they actually made him voice the
Wait, did they actually try to
lines.
implement it as
no, she's in the game from what I've seen.
what? Wow, Christ. Okay. I want to see that for sure. If somebody
Yeah, and I believe it did say too that her voice actress was Okamoto Nobuhiko. So like
Yeah, cuz the voice So it's a female character, obviously, because it's the gender bent accelerator. But apparently, in the CV, like you know how it says on the bottom CV and then whatever voice actor or actress it is. Apparently, the voice actor, not actress, for the gender bent accelerator is supposed to be Okono Nobuhiko, who is the male voice actor for the original accelerator. So uh, definitely going to be an interesting sell or interesting set of voice lines for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I definitely want to see if she has that in lines in Imaginary Fest. So, you know, we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, insane fucking April Fool's joke.
Nice.
And actually putting it in the game either way, because I know the character is at least playable. So, you know.
Okay.
But yeah,
Pretty good.
other than that, nothing.
All right. I haven't been going through too much. Mostly again, balancing real life stuff. Just watching some of the series this season, and then I've been mainly trying. I've been mainly going on like a small, outside of anime, kind of like cooking a sprint, just cooking like random stuff here and there. But other than that, it's been pretty boring for me. Not too much going on. So,
What's
uh,
what's the hot VN coming out of the Eastern Sphere nowadays?
um, I would I don't know, cause it's like right. Oh well, no, that's Ubisoft is making a new or has been promoting a new game, but that's them doing. That's not gonna be localized for quite a while, right? But what's I forget what's like the new stuff that's been released recently
The
actually.
one from Orcsoft?
No. Like there's been a couple of other. Let's see, visual novel. Because I actually get some of these like weird like I get a bunch of like Dempasoft emails all the time. I don't know where I I don't know when I subscribe to their emailing list, but Dempasoft has been getting their news to me. Okay, so what is it? I think the latest one that was of any note and isn't a complete just DL site crap like Dojin level game was probably Slavish Dragon Princess 3. But I think I read this one. I've read
You
this
say
one.
Slavish or Slavish? There's a difference.
Slabish, as in
Okay,
like
'cause,
Dude, I would
lazy.
absolutely play Slavish.
What the fuck? Why?
That would be fucking tight.
hell yeah, man.
The Whirlpool visual novel here. And then the other one was probably March 18th. Okay. Yeah, what is it? Why is this not organized by
What
wait.
about what is this? Kinky Kitsune and the Tantalizing Tanuki. That's new, is it not? It's on
The
Steam.
fuck?
Yeah, there you go. That's all you needed to do, Spire, is you just need to check Steam's popular and upcoming
Yeah, it's Arcsoft, you know?
VNs.
Okay, so
Actually, there's also a Tron VN that came out, just saying.
the newest one on Dempasoft at least is apparently The Alchemist of Ars Magna. I don't know how long this is, but I mean is this dungeon crawler? Oh, the fucking dungeon crawler. I hate this. I already hate this. All right. Well, yeah.
Dungeon
Anyways,
Crawler is it wrong to repeat the debt in a dungeon? That's something else.
no, that's not. But yeah, I haven't been going through too much. Mostly been distracted a little bit by real life stuff. So, anyways, that's been pretty much it from my end. And I guess we'll start just right off with our reviews here. Toast, what do you have for us? Toast? He's dead.
I like that series.
Oh,
Toast?
is he back? Is he good? Uh-oh.
What?
Are you good?
Hello?
What?
Is this
Yeah,
on?
you
Toast?
cut out and then
Okay.
you cut back in for like a second. I think you were like
Oh, whoops.
lagging.
That's me, because I have to flip a switch on my thing every time. Hello? You can hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
So, what do you guys know about Kongo Bancho? Or the banchos in general?
I actually have not read this series. Gubancho.
Hot take. I prefer Kongo Bancho over Nanatsu no Taizai.
Is that? But aren't they? They're, I think, completely different series, right?
Oh, they're made by the same person, so it counts.
Yeah, but that doesn't.
That's my hot take.
Yeah, okay.
What's the most popular hot-blooded bancho series around? What was it? Is it Otoko Juku?
Yeah, I hope you Tokujuku, right?
I,
It's very hard to beat that. That's like performative for other manga series of the same sort. It's like,
Be a Man Samurai School? Is that what it was localized as?
Charged Men's Private School, I think, is the localization or is a transliteration. I don't know what the name is in
It wasn't one
English.
of the games like localized? That was
Was
weird.
it? Does anybody else know if anything with
I
Otokujiku is localized? But yeah, it says Charged Men's Private School. They
okay.
just use a transliteration.
So what time period is that?
That is
No, I mean like what like that style of Gakuran? What time
um
period is that? Is that the early 80s? Is that what you call it?
I think
Like
so
a
because
style?
it was made during the late 80s.
But I
So
get is that when it was popularized? Because what else? JoJo Part 3 was also in the 80s, correct?
yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think it's contemporary for that time, so it's probably just in late 80s or
Anyway, that's beside the entire point. Where's I going with this? So Rokudo no Onna-tachi is what I'm talking about,
okay.
right? Which translates to Rokudo's bad girls.
Yeah, Rokudo's Bad Girls. This is a manga original, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, looking at it, I thought it was older than it actually is. Like this is a straight up early 2000s, like 90s, 80s style. Like this is
The anime actually tries to copy that of some sorts, like the art style,
that's the
right?
art style. I'll just
Yeah,
say that the beginning art style was a lot worse than what you see
yeah, it's pretty
right
jank.
now.
It's Satellite Studios. Satellite can do better than this. It's just like they, I think, try to keep
How
it
dare you?
like the manga's art style. Is my guess.
But yeah, what I'm saying is this is definitely the old school type of series, but
Yeah,
apparently it
yeah,
was made in 2016, so it's new.
yeah.
What? And this is a pretty long. This is a
Okay.
pretty long series. I believe it ended 2 years ago or
Oh,
so.
okay.
Yeah, so 26 volumes. This is. I've been following this for a while. I didn't know it was this recent, but yeah. So the story goes, it's this dude named Rokudo who's who's the classic wimp at a delinquent school. He's got two friends, but they're also wimps. And then one day, his grandfather, his deceased grandfather, gives him a magic scroll, and it's it, I guess, can you call it a curse? I would call it a curse because it puts a pentagram on his forehead. Pentagrams are no good. And so the whole thing is that this pentagram is because he's descended from a family of like omyoji who used to
Okay.
exorcise demons, but there are no demons in the modern day. So what this pentagram does is it basically turns bad girls in quotes, to fall in love with him and whatnot. So, like you can tell right from the start, this is a very classic anime. I say
Yeah,
very classic in the harem genre start. This is
yeah.
old
It
school.
kind of reminds me of that is called Lucia. What is it? The one with the devil or whatever, right?
Which one?
Um,
There's a lot that are similar to this. Uh,
Princess Lucia. It kind of reminds me of
Prince-
that.
really?
Kind of. It's kind of like everybody kind of just gathers
Oh,
together
hold on a minute.
because
Is
of
that
like that.
freaking Seo Koji? How
Yes,
dare you?
sir.
I was gonna say like, oh, I thought you were gonna say To Love Ru, where it's a rom
No, no,
com
no.
thing where there's one dude and he's being constantly chased by a bunch of women, and I'm like, okay, man, I would even accept a Love Hina, but Princess Lucia, how dare you?
I
Dare
apologize.
you? But yeah, so
Go on.
that's basically how the story goes. There's a lot of delinquents at this school. They all fall in love with him, and what Rokudo does is to apparently, to make them stop like going after him, he has to turn them into good girls.
What does that mean?
And that's where what does that mean, Spire? What do you think he does?
Oh, so that's like dependent on the girl, like the different like arcs or what?
Sure. So Spire, looking at this art, how do you think he solves the problem?
I think he throws salt at them.
he he has to like make them go to class and stuff. Is that how they did?
I think he has to kiss them.
He has sex with them.
Yes, to
You're
try
all
to.
you're all close.
He has
What he
to
act-
Wait,
have
which
sex with
one
them, and
was
then
close
he
for me
goes.
though? The kiss or the
all of
salt?
you, all of
Because
you.
All of them,
depending,
yeah.
So what he actually does is he fights them. Hell yeah! By what this looks
Okay.
like. This
oh,
is a
okay.
battle
I guess that
manga.
does make
But
sense.
he's not the one fighting because he's a wimp. So apparently, if I remember correctly, because I read this a long time ago, depending on how bad the girl is, it's like the more bad the girl is, the more they're in love with him. So you have
Okay.
to do varying degree. So varying degrees of. Well, what am I saying? It's the inverse where the more bad they are, the more they like him. So he has to by
So he gets them to fight each other, or like what's happening?
where am I? No, it's the fighting comes later. He's trying to rehabilitate them to turn them into good girls. So
Yes,
like
yes.
his magic omyoji powers don't affect him, and they can live a normal high school life. Because that's what he wants to do. He's like, oh, I'm weak and being bullied. I just want to live a normal high school life with friends. But my magic omyoji powers that attract evil women that go after me, like prevent
Gosh,
that.
I just got all these hot chicks coming after me, man. What is a fella to do?
Oh no! Oh no! All these gyarus are after me. What do I do? But yeah. So yeah, the fighting comes later, but that's mostly because he himself is not the fighter. The real fighter is Rana Himawari, who's the main female protagonist. She's the baddest girl at high school. Like
Okay.
you know how male dudes are banchos. She's a
Yes.
s- she's a sukeban, which is like the female bancho.
Yes, yes, yes,
She's
yes.
wielding a boken. So
It's like if some people don't know, like in Japan, like there's like kind of like a
delinquent
weird
girl.
meme kind of stereotype of the delinquent girl, and they'll have that like they'll have the wraparound bra and then the fucking steel bad and stuff like that. It's like that
And
sort
the
of is.
long skirt.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, so it's like she's the first one to fall under like the spell because she's the baddest girl. So she's the one most in love with him.
Okay.
So she turns pretty tsundere when he's around. Like, oh hey, Rokudo-kun, how are you? And she's like an evil bitch to everyone else. So
Uh-huh.
classic tsundere stuff. But yeah, there's I'm only 2 episodes in, but spoiler later on when some more bad girls come around, This is when it turns into a battle manga, because this series would be kind of boring if it was a traditional rom-com like harem comedy. No, you gotta put in fight scenes and battle manga, or else this wouldn't be good. But yeah, what else? That's the basic premise of the story. Just Rokudo trying to rehabilitate these girls so they can get off his dick and whatnot. It's cool. What else? There's surprisingly a lot of interesting voice actors in this series. Um, Rokudo himself is voiced by Sato Gen. I don't know if you guys know who that is. I don't, but he's pretty
He's
popular.
been
Wait,
he did
what?
he did a couple of main character roles. He's been doing a decent number of main character roles recently, if I remember correctly.
I don't know. He sounds familiar, but I don't know. I don't remember. Did he win an award? Fire, huh? Did he? Was
I
he an award
don't
winner?
think so.
Then
I don't think
I
he won an
don't
award, but
care.
he's done like quite a decent number of.
The main focal point I'm gonna put on it is Rana's voiced by Uisaka Sumire. I don't know if you guys have heard of her,
Yeah, not very famous.
but like the
This-
moment you hear her voice, it's like, wait a minute, I know who this is. It's pretty good.
If you don't recognize it, it's like although like in recently she's tried to branch out into some roles where she's done like a lot of the more middle of the road voice,
Are you
vocal
saying?
tones and impressions.
Are you
But
saying
like
last
if you
season she was middle of the road? How dare you? Near, beat him up.
but
What?
Wasn't
for the
wasn't Lum or Urisa Yatsura last season?
Um, and it went into last season. I don't
And
think
near
it
beat him
started
up.
last.
If you remember, Lum herself is voiced by Uisaka Sumire. So how dare you, Fire? How dare you say she's middling?
Also, just so you
I'm not
know,
sure.
Sato again has kind of been popping off.
Yeah, that's what I said. He's
Yeah,
been doing
I
quite
Yeah,
have
a
never
yeah.
number
heard
of
of
He's
him.
been
main
doing a
character roles.
lot of mains. He's Chrome
Yeah.
in Doctor Stone, and then more recently, obviously, he was the main in that. He is also the main of the Insomnia, like after school, Kimi wa Hokugo Insomnia, which is this season. The main in Jakukata Tomozaki-kun.
Oh, he's the bald guy in comedy. Nice.
Yeah,
No, no
he's
one
in a
watched
lot.
that except
He
me.
was a main in High Card, which was like last season. So he's yeah, he's doing a
High Card
lot of
was weird,
mains.
but yeah. And then
Um,
one of the main character's friends, they call him Colonel because he's on was the military otaku, is
mhm.
Namikawa Daisuke. I believe if you don't know who that is, all I know is that he's a Anasui from Stone Ocean. I got nothing besides that. And what else? The bigger one I have to point out is the other friend of the main character, who's like this, who they call Chief, is Ishida Akira. Now that's a veteran name I know of. Do you guys know who he is?
Sir.
Correct. He's he's Aster Phoenix from Yu-Gi-Oh! And I guess Atherin Zala, but who watches Gundam, right? Who watched Seed? Surely no Fujoshis know who Atherin Zala is. But yeah, so there's a lot of interesting like veterans in this. Which is I guess makes sense because this series has an old timey feel. And look, the cast list. There's a Ueda Reina. I don't know who that is. I think she's kind of
Oh yeah, that
a
reminds me.
veteran too.
I was watching. I mean, she's definitely so she's been doing it for at least like more than 5 years. I think it's less than 10 years now. But in this industry, like she's not like considered super veteran, but she's definitely considered experienced. The issue is like she's often next to people that have been in the anime industry for 20 freaking years and stuff like that. So it's just like, oh,
How
okay. Like
dare how
even
dare you
even
how dare you disrespect Reina Ueda as Goblin Slayer's sister?
yeah, Widow Reina is like literally my top 3 female voice actresses right now, but that is beside the point. Um, what's funny is that she'll be next to say like Namikawa Daisuke, right? And Namikawa Daisuke, people are like, oh, he's young, he's relatively young, for somebody in the industry. He doesn't have as much experience. He is like 5 years Yukikaji senior in terms of work experience. he was a child actor apparently. I was just like, what? Okay. It's the same with Ogura Yui. But anyways, what's really funny is I was looking at the voice actor list cast for Rokudo, right? Winona Reina is voicing a whole freaking family. Have you seen this?
Yeah,
What's going
I was
on
gonna
right
point
now?
that out. I'm like, okay, man, good
It's
for
like some
you.
Banyanya shit. Have you guys seen it? She's like voicing
No.
3 different characters. I'm like, what? Okay.
She voices Rhino, Kazuno, and Amano, and I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, I
It's
didn't
kind of
expect
like
that.
Baka to Test where uh who was it that was voicing the twins, right? The Hideyoshi twins or Kinoshita twins. Kinoshita Hideyoshi, Kinoshita Yuko. It was Kato Emily, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah. But yeah, it's kind of like that. Yes. Yeah. By the way, Toast, is this more? I guess there is like a general development, but is this generally set into like mini arcs, or is like each girl like 1 or 2 episodes, or how
That's
is this paced?
that's where the battle thing comes in. You know, you gotta if it's a battle manga, gotta have like the 4 Heavenly Kings, right? So this delinquent super strong. She's gonna be the main uh, villain for a while, but then she turns into a good guy because that's the whole point of this series. So
What's that? Do you know the name of that one battle manga? Which is like where all the girls are like reincarnated versions, or like they have like the
Tosen,
spirits. What?
Ikitosen,
Ikitosen, yes. Is it like that? Or like what is
like
it?
where they
Like
have evil spirits. No, I
not evil
wish.
spirits, but like the general like battle kind of thing. Is it
I
kind
mean
it's kind of like
that would be another battle manga. I would, well, yeah, because most of the all the antagonists are girls, so
okay.
it's just Rana versus all these, and it's
Oh,
like,
so it's
yeah,
mainly just like Rana versus like all the other girls, like in turn.
sure, because she's the strongest Geban, so she's got to fight, the transfer students that come in and whatnot.
Okay.
Yeah, this is very traditional, whatnot, and
Mhm.
I guess that's why I like it. It harkens back to the old school shonen days where it was just here's a battle manga and whatnot.
How
Uh,
how long does each sort of battle last? 1 or 2 episodes, or is
we're 2 episodes in. I can't tell you that, and I will tell you that this is 26 volumes. This is fairly long, like 260 chapters. So there's gonna be a
Hmm.
lot of battles.
Do you think it's gonna get a potential second season or no?
I wish, but I don't think it will.
Hmm.
But yeah, Studios Satellite, most famous for Moretsu Pirates, I guess. Whatever. Is that their famous one? Surely no one's heard of Fairy Tale
Yeah.
or Log
Yeah.
Horizon
Literally
or whatever.
unknown series. Yes.
But
But yeah,
yeah,
Satellite has been famous for a lot of stuff. Again, I think in this one they were trying to keep a little bit more faithful to the audiovisual for the manga original.
this art
It'll be interesting
style's
to see how they put it out.
pretty unique. And pretty unique, I'm saying that some people might call it ugly, and I'll be like, how dare you? You
It's
might be
an
right, but
homage. How are the 3D? How's like the 3D blending or like
3D?
3D stuff?
What? There's
Is
3D in this?
it is there any 3D and stuff?
No?
Because apparently Satellite
Is
says they
there?
worked on 3D graphics, but that might be just the
I
background.
I don't see any. That might be true, but I didn't see any major like CG in any of the characters. It's pretty. pretty 2D looking.
Okay.
But yeah, what else can I say? I like the series. Reminds me of Beelzebub. Reminds me of Otaku. Reminds me of
That's
I
pretty
don't
good.
know, Battle High School, Medaka Box. Sure, let's throw that in.
How much or have if you've read the manga, how much balance is there between him doing more, rom-com harem stuff versus the battle manga portion?
It depends on the arc. It's like
Okay.
really. I remember there was a Chinese girl. That was pretty cool. Like I remember
there
he
always
does.
has to be like a
Right?
token
Yeah,
like
there
Chinese
has to.
transvestite.
Yeah, there
Well,
has
I
to
mean,
be
to be
one that's coming in doing like
The
the
accents and stuff
forbidden
like that.
Chinese martial arts.
Yeah.
well, I mean, to be
There's like a
fair, there was
phoenix in the
that one
background.
arc in the manga where he was like there he had to find some magic beads to because some magic omyoji beads to strengthen his exorcism powers or something because you know there's parts where the main Rana got way too powerful or whatever.
Hmm.
I don't want to spoil too much, and that's where he finds the Chinese girl and she teaches him kung fu, and I was like, that's cool.
Oh shit. That's good. I like how the series keeps it pretty, straightforward. Some would call it cheesy, but I like that and just like knows where it's
It
landing.
knows what it is, and it's like
Yeah, exactly. That's pretty good.
it stays true to itself, and that's what makes it good. 26
Okay.
volumes is a lot. But yeah, what else? Audio
When was
visuals.
it? When was it initially serialized? The manga, I mean.
It's in a weekly Shonen Champion.
Oh wait, you said 2016, right? You
Yeah,
you said 2016, and it finished, right? I think you
yeah.
said.
Finished in 2021, I believe, 2 years
Okay,
ago.
okay. That is a lot. Five
This
volume, or sorry, 26 volumes in 5 years is still a lot.
yeah,
Like,
this is a fairly standard shonen. What else? I gotta say the art though, the art might turn some people off because it doesn't look like your typical
yeah, again, like
anime
an
nowadays.
older
But
style.
and I can't say that it's because it's an old manga. It's not. 2016
Mhm.
is not old.
Yeah,
It's the artist style. It definitely
yeah.
gets better over time. You're seeing the final polished version, so you get what you get.
I, yeah, and I think again, it's like if it's like an actual style, it's kind of whatever. It's similar to something like Edomae-kun, for instance, right?
Yeah, I was gonna
Like,
say like yeah, this is definitely something in line with Iraku.
yeah.
But yeah, what can I say? I like the series. It's true to
Mhm.
itself and pretty standard shonen. I got no complaints. The art style is something you can get used to. You like the character. I like the characters. It's a fairly good battle manga if I remember correctly. Lots of interesting characters and designs. Uh, Pretty good veteran cast of voice actors for this. And I, I mean, if I have to say, if you don't like how it looks in the anime, or if you don't like watching the anime, just read the manga. It's done.
Yeah,
Did pretty well. So
sure.
not yeah. I mean, pretty cool. It's the reason why when I saw this was on the preview, I was like, wait a minute, really? This whole thing? I gotta check it out. I
Honestly,
have a
like it's actually pretty interesting because again, they had Shin Ikitosen a couple of seasons ago as well, right? So it's like there's a lot of these older, not older, I guess in this case, but a lot of that sort of things being pulled out recently by studios. So it is an interesting turn.
but yeah, I got no real complaints. Check it out if you want. For a breath of fresh air that's not too, you can turn your brain off and have some good old fashioned early 2000s fun with this. Don't think too hard. Because I don't like my cerebral anime. I just want to watch it
Your
have.
adult anime.
Who wants to watch? What was the one with the 12 zodiacs? That was boring. Kekai Sensen? No.
Yeah.
Juni
Juni
No,
Taisen.
the
Taisen.
Juni Taisen.
I don't think
Kekai
even
Sensen
Juni
is
Taisen was very
yeah.
like spoiler alert for those of you who are like, wow, I gotta watch all of
Some
Battle Royale
motherfuckers
stuff.
out there were like, Junie Tyson is the most adult big brain series ever invented.
Motherfucking, I gotta spoil Judy Tyson right here.
Bro,
Just
he's a
because.
necromantist. Okay.
Yeah, that could be, bro. It's actually the buddy who killed everybody. Okay.
Yeah, what's that thing this season? The freaking
What-
necromancer death game.
Oh, Dead Mount Death Play? You mean the year's
Yeah.
favorite series? You mean year's
God, that's
favorite
so
series?
pretentious.
The worst part is like that series, because it's made by the Bakada slash Jurada author, you know some people are gonna be like, no, it has to be deep, okay? Because it's by the Bakada author. And it's like, no, that's not how that works. Sorry. Just uh anyways.
But yeah, it's good.
What
What was it?
what
What were we gonna say?
what score would you give it?
I'll give it a solid 8.
Dang.
Why not? This good old fashioned shonen fun. Doesn't have to be too pretentious. It falls in line with all that. I like
Yeah,
the
for
I like Rana's voice actor. Pretty cool.
hmm
And the art might turn you off, but just give it a chance. Just give it a chance.
All right. Pretty good. Pretty good. Thank you very much, Toast. And moving on, I'm going to be covering the next series. Oh, but yeah, again, by the way, just again, if you are interested, please do check out Rokudo, Rokudo no Onna-tachi, or Rokudo's Bad Girls. This series by Satellite Studios. Pretty good adaptation from manga original. Yeah. Moving on, I am going to cover one of the series one of the series that might get a little bit of buzz just because it is more of like a meme. It is Otaku Elf. This is manga original, yeah, manga original, done by C2C. C2C has done a couple of series here and there, mainly in betweens. Um, yeah, mainly in
Did
betweens. If I'm
C2C do CCC?
no, that would be pretty funny. I'm not gonna lie, but they've mainly done like smaller series. I think the first major series that they ever did was a short that was like based off haiku. I think it was a winter series, a season series. It was Go Go Goroko, or sorry, Go Shigo. And then they did something like I believe they also did
They did a lot.
Toribochi, right?
I mean,
I think
recently they've done Mahjong no Tabi Tabi. They did Pride of Orange, which had some
yes, yes.
They
nice
do a lot
cuts.
of the isekais I've had my eye on. They did the
Um,
Sword Dad.
One-chan ga
They did
kita.
they
Yeah,
did
Sword Girl. Yeah,
yeah, they did
Sword Dad.
Hitoribachi as well.
they did
So
they did Tsukimichi, Handyman Saito. So yeah,
Oh,
they're
they
in
did
there.
do Skimichi. Good catch. I forget that. Yeah, Majin no Tabi Tabi. So yeah, they've done a decent amount of interesting series. I think they've had a pretty good pick. Unlike White Fox, who's just gobbling up any isekai that comes along, stuff like
yeah,
that. They've had a pretty good pick. Again, most of their work has been between as probably like subcontractors helping out with main animation production studios. Now, this team doing Otaku Elf is a bunch of sort of intermediate to a veteran experienced team. Most of them, including the director, who is, I believe, Anzai Takebumi, he's collected the core of the C2C Toribochi team, uh, including the chief animation directors as well as like the other art designers, sound directors and stuff like that. He did pull in an extra new person who's a relatively new person called Sai. He, as a chief animation director, he has worked a little bit on Unite Up and Gargantia and stuff like that. But I believe this is the first time where he is fully like another chief animation director. That's an interesting surprise. But yeah, most of the other people are, except for I believe the series composition person. Series composition person is a veteran. He's worked on stuff like Damachi, Jojo, like a bunch of other stuff. Um, Other than that, it is the main Hitoribochi team from C2C. The voice acting cast is also composed of not necessarily like a bunch of new people, but people that have been involved in the anime industry, but just have not necessarily been getting like a whole bunch of big hit roles and stuff like that. So they've gotten a bunch of sort of I don't want to say B-listers, but people who haven't gotten as much work in the recent years. The main two voices, the main two characters are the human Miko, the human high school girl, I think Kokone Koito, who is voiced by Ozaki Yuka. She is most known for her role in Kemono Michi, or sorry, not Kemono Michi, Kemono Friends, uh, both seasons as Serval. If you obviously you guys have seen that series, as well as the infamous Koshimizu Ami. I don't think I need to really explain her roles. Doing who is voicing the elf Elda in the series. Everybody else is again the other voices are kind of generally people from here and there, people who haven't gotten any roles in the recent years. Hitomi, Aikawa Haruka, Kimono Judy. But yeah, that's the main rundown of the cast and staff in this series. Otaku Elf manga adaptation. Let me go over the summary real quick. Summary is that again, Kogane Koito is a teenager who works as an attendant to the Takamimi Shrine. She was her grandfather and her family have been working at the shrine for generations now. Rumors have it that a deity dwells within the shrine, but the actual resident is an immortal elf who found herself stuck on Earth some 400 years ago. What's more, the elf is a total shut-in who won't go outside and has developed a taste for video games. So the general idea is that Elda, the elf, and Kogane Koito, the Miko, is working together at the shrine and kind of having these like day-to-day slice of life-ish interactions, interact with each other. They learn more about each other. It's not like Yuri. It's not like a girl to girl Yuri kind of thing. It was just like, hey, you're doing some stupid, otaku stuff, like, or you're bringing up some otaku trivia, or like, bring me some otaku goods, or whatever it is. And it's kind of that sort of general girls doing stuff, slice of life. Um, Brings in the cast, obviously related to Kogane Koito, the high school girl, and that's sort of it. It's like a slice of life otaku kind of thing. There's not as much of the elf doing magic things as much. There's mentions of like, oh, magical power, like I'll use this power here, or I'll do stuff like that, but it's not really a focus. Most of the focus is just on the two characters. Again, Koito, as well as the elf Elda, kind of running around and mentioning all these like little neat as in like like hikikomori, like not employed, neat hikikomori otaku kind of things. And so um this series, how do I describe it? It kind of tries to juggle a lot of balls. And I feel like the reason why it juggles a lot of balls is that it has this premise, but it's not really a premise that sells, is how I would uh, describe it. So instead of trying to really pin their selling point down because they don't have a selling, it instead kind of tries to do a lot of stuff at once. So what I mean by that is, for instance, take a harem scene, right? Well, I don't know, Infinite Stratos or something, right? Yeah, of course it has like the mechas and like the fighting and the drama and all that bullshit. But what is the main selling point of it? What is the reason why people watch it? Is harem, it's rom com, is like the fighting between the girls because they're jealous and blah, 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 all that crap, right? So they know what that selling. So, or the author, and obviously everybody related to it, the editors, the people who have adapted the anime, whatever, they all know what that selling point is. So they always try to drive that point home, right? It's always about like the jealous fights, like the girls trying to mac with Ichika is, whatever, right? It's about that sort of like rom com harem environment. This premise, Otaku Elf, with the elf being an otaku and talking about otaku stuff or like talking about modern stuff, right? It's like they'll have the scenes where it's like the elf's just like, bring me Red Bull. Like she'll legitimately say Red Bull, not even just like hiding it. I don't know whether the series is sponsored by Red Bull or whatever, but it's like bring me Red Bull, or like she's doing like Gunpla or like whatever it is. Like she's playing with VR sets or doing all, contemporary nerd otaku kind of like general trivia thing, right? And but that's not really I would say a good selling point for a series, right? You're not watching an entire anime, 12 episodes of an anime, just to be like, wow, an elf girl talks about Red Bull or whatever, especially since she doesn't really the elf girl doesn't really make a contrast. It's between her previous experiences and like the technology VR Red Bull, otaku stuff um that she goes through. So it's a little bit different from even like something like Isekai Oji-san, right? Where in Isekai Oji-san there's a distinct way of telling the story where they switch back and forth between the isekai and the real world, right? So it's like in the isekai, these things happen, and he was like heroic and doing all these things, and that sets up a contrast in the storytelling between that and what the Oji-san is doing now, right? It's like he's a Sega fan. He's like, oh my god, Sega is not the most, the best gaming company. Like, what happened? And he's like going through all this stuff, and he's going through YouTube comments, all that, right? And it sets up this contrast, and that's interesting because you're trying to the value of that series comes from the reaction of what he went through versus what he's going through now, right? But this doesn't have that, so it's kind of trying to do the trivia, and then it kind of notices, wait a minute, that's not a very good selling point of a series. You can't make a 12 episode anime series. You can't really make a big good manga series off of it. So then it goes into like the character development between the elf and like the girl. But again, the elf doesn't really have much of a really big background other than, yeah, I lived for a long time, and like I'm like an elf, and I'm like a hikikomori. I didn't really want to go outside, and I was like just like stuck and stuff like that. So she'll have like some weird like funny like quote unquote trivia things where she'll say, yeah, I knew, Tokugawa Ieyasu or whatever, right? But beyond that, there's not much lore to the elf. So beyond her personality, just her surface personality of, yeah, I'm just I'm just a kind shy hikikomori, versus the girl who's just like, yeah, I just want to be a freaking high school girl. I just want to be a mature. I want to grow into like a sexy, mature lady. I want to be cool. I want to be a city girl. Whatever it is, right? So other than that surface interaction, there's not that much going on between the growth of these characters. There's not much for them to develop between each other. So then the artist says, okay, well, I can't really rely too much on the otaku stuff, and I can't rely too much on the character development stuff between the two girls. So now I got to bring in the rest of the cast. And so the other cast comes in, and like the cast, you have like the different, girls coming in and, you know, looking at the elf or whatever it is, like interacting with the elf, interacting with the high school girl main character, stuff like that. And so the cast builds. But then even the cast themselves don't really have much of a big catch to them, right? They don't have some sort of shtick or some like interaction that will make them valuable to the series or to the viewer, because even the main characters, the elf and the high school girl, don't really have that much going on to them, then why would the supporting characters have that much, right? After all, the artist can only write the main characters to this degree, so why would you expect anything more from supporting characters? So even the cast coming in doesn't have that much value to the series, and now you see where like this whole the snowball is rolling. This becoming this trap where the author is realizing he has all these different bits, but none of them are really enough to help carry the story forward. So he has to do everything at the same time. He has to do all these bits of like otaku trivia, like, oh, the elf, haha, look at the meme, funny elf talking about ramen and Red Bull or whatever it is. oh, but then the two characters are interacting with each other as the high school girl and the elf. Oh, but then the cast is coming in, and he has to keep like throwing this stuff at the viewers because each of them separately are not that good and are not enough to carry the series forward. So he has to keep juggling these balls. He has to keep throwing the different stuff in rotation at the viewer, and it becomes this very what I noticed and started telling myself was this has the general flow and like idea, this pretense of a cute girls doing stuff or like a cute girls with X premise doing stuff series, but it has no coherence. It has no driving selling point as to why I will watch it, right? Something like Dark, what was the title of that series? The Bayside, the fishing thing, right? What
Oh,
was it?
Hokugo
Slow.
Table? Hokugo Table
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Nishi?
Hokuto Tebonishi, as well as the slow loop or whatever it was, right? The
Yeah,
other
Slow
fishing
Loop
series.
was yeah, oh yeah. Slow Loop was the other one, if that's the
Yeah,
one you're talking about.
both of them had like driving points, right? Like specific, they had these specific character interactions on like the premise that was kind of locked in, and like they used that sort of like trivia or like the premise to be like, okay, well, we're gonna have the girls revolve around this, and then we're gonna have them tell the stories, and kind of they had this driving force, right, that made you want to watch the series, right?
Yeah.
Even if the premise wasn't the most exciting thing in the universe. But this doesn't have, it has the pretense of that, but it doesn't have that driving force in any of the things that it's providing at the table. So it's a very unfortunate series because on its surface you're like, oh, that's like, this is probably an okay series like any other freaking girls doing X thing, cute girls doing X thing, and this contrast and like the shy girls and whatever it is. So it'll be okay, I guess. But then it just flops. It just flops. And it flops in, and it kind of seems boring in the same way as something like a Tamayuda or like a Kofuku Graffiti, but it fails in a very different way. Where Tamayuda and Kofuku Graffiti kind of have their selling points, but then they messed up at selling that selling point, right? I don't know if that makes sense to you, Nier, for example. Like Tamayuda and Kofuku Graffiti, like they know what they're selling. It's just like they screwed it up. They're just like Tamayuda. They just are bad at selling what they had, right? Um, but Otaku Elf knows what it's selling is bad, and it's like it's trying to sell it really hard. It's like, oh, it has the Otaku Elf, it has the girl who's trying to be funny with the meme elf or whatever it is, but it's not selling a good parcel of goods. So it just fails, I think, on that end, and it's a very unfortunate series, and I think it's not bad. I think Otaku Elf is not bad, but it would be hard not or it's not terrible. It's not like, oh, oh god, there's all these things wrong with it. The
Yeah, I
audio
think there's
visual is fine. Yeah.
I think there's
Uh
two things about it.
yeah.
It's one, I think it opens way stronger than like what it kind of gets to.
Yeah.
Because it
And
opens
that's like part of the
with
appeal of the premise, initial premise, right? It's like,
yeah,
wow.
well it like you said, it opens with the elf, but then they like kind of don't really like do anything about her isekai life.
Mhm.
It opens on the concepts of immortality for the elf and like mortality with like, you know,
Yeah,
mortals
like
like
why
humans.
she hikikomori,
You
stuff
know,
like that. Yeah.
everyone is aging around, well, not even just that, but also it's like everyone is aging around her that she likes and she isn't. Um
Yeah, exactly.
things like it doesn't really get into any of that other than to essentially use it for bits. Not that this series would really need to get super serious, but
Yeah.
you know,
But it used to have something.
like
Like it
starting
just
on
used to have
that, like
something.
yeah, like starting on that was like way stronger than it not really doing a whole lot with it. And then like you were saying with the character interactions, I think it was pretty weak the way they resolved like the woman in white thing.
Yeah.
like the reveal of that having been her, and that what's her name, the Miko, like really, like she kind of changed her life inadvertently, and then
I
that
thought it was
that
gonna
being
go into like a Yuri
reduced.
kind of thing.
I
Yeah.
mean, like not even to use it for like a Yuri thing, but to use it as to like as like more of a dynamic, I think, and to give her like a different side, probably would have been a little bit better. I think the only
Yeah.
other thing I will say about this series and why I will keep up with it is it's literally just for it's just like, yeah, like Koshimizu Ami opens her mouth and you fucking listen, and that's it.
Yeah. You better
And that
listen the
and
fuck up.
honestly, like that's all I need. Like, yeah,
Mm.
Koshimizu Ami's a funny elf. There you go.
Yeah.
And
And
Yeah.
fuck it.
she does very good
So
voices.
I watched the first episode for this, right? I didn't watch the second episode, but to be honest, I'm kind of on the same. I'm sort of on the same page as Spire, except I feel like the product that this anime is selling is the elf, right? Like it's just
Yeah.
the elf. And like Spire said, like, obviously the author is trying to add additional things onto it because he's like, well, I can't like just have the elf, right? Because then it gets like you can't just write a manga about like just
Well,
an elf.
specifically when you mention the elf, what he's trying to, what the initial premise, like good, uh, package number A or like sale item number one, right? Is elf being like, oh, here's ramen, or oh, here's a VR set. What do I do with it? That's like the initial point. But he and everybody else around him realizes you can't make a 12 episode anime about that.
Yeah,
Much
like I mean, you can't really do, you can't do too much in general with like just a gag, right? So you need to
Mhm.
tag on other characters,
Yeah.
maybe some backstory, maybe some general character development, right? But at the end of the day, you're reading and slash watching for Elda, right? Like that's really the only reason to like go into the show.
Yeah.
And to be fair, she's really cute, right? And she's pretty funny.
The audio
Um,
visuals are quite see to see. Again, I think the art director is doing quite a good job.
yeah, I mean the visuals are pretty crisp. I will say the backgrounds are kind of bad sometimes.
Yeah.
Some of the perspective on it's kind of fucked up. Um, but yeah, the animation is pretty crisp. The colors are really nice. But yeah, like I was kind of in the like as I was watching, I was kind of like, well, because in the first episode, right, there's
Mhm.
the scene where the Miko girl is sort of in school and just talking to her classmates, and I was kind of just like, I don't, I don't give a shit. Like I really just don't care.
Yeah, 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 exactly.
Like I didn't give a single shit about any of these characters interacting
You
unless
get what I'm
like
saying. You get what I said before, right? It was just like
yeah,
you have
like
these yeah, like
y-
what?
like unless the characters are interacting with Elda, like I just don't really give a shit.
Mm.
Because she is the main pull. Um, for better and worse. So,
And the
you know,
elf herself isn't really carrying the show very well.
yeah,
Is
I mean she's not like I mean she can't carry
yeah, yeah,
um
yeah, exactly.
because other characters do have to be on the screen.
Yeah.
But the issue is that when the other characters are on the screen, like all of my interest just immediately saps out of the show. Um, so yeah,
That's fine.
it's rather unfortunate, but
But yeah, for me, it is. I don't know whether I would really call myself like necessarily a slice of like sommelier like connoisseur at this point, but it's like
You're a
at
music sommelier.
sommelier. I don't know about that, but what I would consider for me to actually recommend a slice of life for this to somebody is like something that actually has a driving point attached, right? So, regardless of the fact, again, for instance, going back to the rom comics, if I know that somebody likes rom com enough, um, and there is a driving catch or driving point or something, some shtick or whatever that continues to add traction to the series that is being watched, then I will be able to recommend rom-com stuff to that person, regardless of whether that series may have flaws in some other points, or overall, regardless of how polarizing rom-com series may be. Same with slice of life. A slice of life needs to have a driving point of attraction to watch before I will consider it to be really something that I would recommend, regardless of how crappy that premise might seem. Like, even if it's like golf or fishing or whatever, if there is something within the interaction, whatever. I mean, even something like do it yourself, right? Like, the premise is very like,
What do
if you
you
see the club,
mean,
it's just
dude?
like,
They are doing it themselves.
But
yeah,
Like,
Spire,
exactly.
what
Even
about
the
the
name,
allegory?
bro. Yeah.
This is a cerebral type of series, Spire. Don't you know the allegory of the shrine maiden elf? And that
What's
she,
the
what
algorithm?
you don't understand what she represents?
No, what is
She's
it?
she represents an important part of Japanese history, Spire.
Such
Don't
as?
you know
Old
she's an
people.
What? No, no, what? Wow, Spire hates old people. Look at this guy. No, I'm talking about
No, I didn't say
she, she's an allegory. She represents Amaterasu, Spire.
that.
Don't you remember Amaterasu, where she hid in a cave for a long time and she was a neat?
I see.
And then that's what the elf represents. Don't you know all neat, all mystical neat beings are Amaterasu in Japanese?
Jesus. I guess I guess you could see it like that. But yeah.
What was that one series where they had Amaterasu? Was it Sasami-san? I think it's Sasami-san, right? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
I
you're
mean,
talking about like another
Sasami-san
sort of,
had a lot of
yeah, Japanese mythology
yeah.
with it. But yeah, I think that is one series. Um but it would be hard for going back to Otaku Elf, but it would be hard for me to recommend on face Otaku Elf as a series for somebody to watch 12 episodes straight. Me, because I can't even be like, no, keep watching it. Something good will come up. Trust me, because I can't really say that. So at the end of the day, I would maybe give this a 3, maybe 2.5.
Out of
Hard,
five, damn.
out of 10. It's hard for me to justify continuing to watch this series, and I think the author is just, he needs to get another. There needs to be another set of premises. There needs to be another set of characters. There needs to be something to really grab hold of the listeners and the viewers. Else it's just not working out. That's
All
how I
right,
feel
Spire.
about Otaku.
Let me throw this into the mix since we're talking about elves. All right. What if? All right, listen. What if she was fat?
There's been a lot of series like that recently, to be honest.
So
Though it's like,
you know the series I'm talking about, right? The one with the fat elf.
yeah, when's that getting
Yeah.
animated? The one that likes French
Elf
fries?
Sanwa. Yeah, that one. See, Dark knows stuff. Elf Sanwa Yasure Renai. You know, the fat plus
Oh,
size
this,
elf.
yeah, yeah. No,
Hell
I know this
yeah.
one. This one is pretty
Hell
awesome.
yeah.
Yeah,
Do-
I like this one.
wow, Spire, you like this one better? All right,
Yeah,
I
this
get you.
one is way better. First of all,
Plus
it's drawn by
size.
Synecdoche.
Hell
Uh,
yeah.
Second of all, it like has a very obvious, like, the artist. The artist clearly is a much better, right? I don't want to be too down on Otaku Elf, but he's, even being like an erotic manga artist, right? Previously, he's,
Hold on. Did you call Synecdoche erotic?
no, I said he
Nice.
is erotic manga artist.
Nice.
He could also be erotic. I don't know. I do not know him, but
Hey man, don't fat shame.
yeah, but
She's trying to
he
lose weight, Spire. Don't be one of those gym bros.
he clearly is a better writer than the writer of Otaku Elf, because he knows what the premise is, what the selling point of the premise is and how to drive it home. It is
Oh.
very like clear, like it was
And you
on
got
the
a
wall.
sequel.
Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, and it's just, I mean, yeah, it's that is a better series. It's a better way to write it, regardless of like what the premise is or whatever it is. It's just like that is what good storytelling is. You know where you're going, you know how to get there, you know how to show the viewers how to get there or where you're going, and it's a clear selling point to the viewer. Boom, boom, boom. Keep it simple. And again, unfortunately, something like Otaku Elf fails to bring it home. Anyways, that is my review of Otaku Elf. I wish it could have been better, but it does fall
Well,
quite short.
what would you do to give it more, to make it more popular? Because I gave my opinion. She should be fat, trying to lose weight.
That's already a manga.
Yeah, we just talked about that.
No,
Yeah, it should just be that one instead.
It should
Yeah,
just be
yeah,
that
yeah.
one. I think there are two kind of general things that could. The issue is at the shtick itself is too repetitive for even something like isekai experiences making a contrast to make a difference. Because if the elf just kept being like, oh, in the feudal world I didn't have this, but in this world I have this, it becomes that becomes too repetitive as well. Which is why Isekai Oji-san had actually a completely different kind of way in the way it told the contrast, right? Where the isekai portion, like it had the isekai trivia and stuff like that, but and it showed the contrast a little bit. But the main point of the isekai was that he wanted to tell his sort of past story and how the character's set up, as opposed to the real world part, which was sort of the gag part, right? So that was sort of how he set the contrast, and I think Isekai Oji-san did a pretty good job on that. Although obviously I had my own problems, and during the review or whatever. But in terms of that sort of storytelling, I think it did quite well. Um, I think what would be beneficial would have been two things. One, the main character, the high school girl, and the supporting cast needed to be written much better and much more proactive in terms of like what they do with the elf, right? Like how they kind of pull out the personality, how they interact with the elf, being like, oh, but you're an elf, so can you do this? Or like, why are blah 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 blah, and kind of doing this back and forth slapstick gag a little bit more strongly than just relying on the oh, don't be a neat kind of, right. So I think buffing, um, writing, fleshing out the high school girl and the normal characters' roles and the writing and the dialogue a little bit better would help support even the elf herself, because then it helps pull out her gag shtick in a more organic sense. And then I think the second improvement might have been to have the elf go out and do stuff early, or go out around Japan, not around Japan, but like in the city, and do more neat otaku stuff earlier on, because yeah, she's like a hikikomori whatever, but the idea is that the elf needs to experience Japan, right? The elf is like, oh, this is modern Japan, oh, this is Red Bull, oh, this is a VR set, oh, this is Gunpla, or oh, this is made whatever anime stuff, right? And forcing the elf to go out and experience stuff both keeps up that gag shtick, but also creates an opportunity for the artist to bring in um quote unquote outside dialogue, right? It'll have these moments where like the maid cafe girl talking to the elf, or like the elf is interacting with the maid cafe, or the elf is interacting with some like random thugs or whatever. And that allows for more of the world to be organically fleshed out, or like the world to be able to provide a lot of the hooks for the elf without the elf just being like, oh, here's ramen. Oh, here's anime. Oh, here's X Japanese culture thing. Buy her alone, or like whenever the high school girls provided. So I think at least those two would have been a better improvement earlier on. But it's very hard. It's just I think what's happening, I don't know. Again, this series has like a semblance of like what it wants to do, but it just doesn't have enough good hooks. It's just not. Again, very unfortunate. You know, what can I say? Not everybody can be a hit, right? So, uh, again, that's my review of Otaku Elf. Very unfortunate. It kind of has a semblance of a slice of life, cute girls doing stuff premise, but ultimately it does fall a little bit flat on its face. And yeah, next on the list, that was my review. And next on the list, I guess, would be Dark. What do you have for us?
Let me adjust these picks because that for some reason, this series didn't have any good wide pictures. But yeah, I am covering Yamada-kun. Yeah, I'll just do the English. My love story with Yamada-kun at level 999. And
Yamada-kun.
this, yeah, I mean, I could do the Japanese states. Yamada-kun to level 999, no koi wo suru.
Yes. This is what is it? Madhouse? This is
yeah,
I
this is
forgot.
Madhouse.
This is the Madhouse
so
series.
this
Fuck,
is this is a really good looking series. Very shiny, very polished.
I think it would be pretty funny if it's like, yeah, Madhouse, but then they did a slice of life, so they went, fuck it, and made it ugly as sin.
Yeah. But this is very it's very like shoujo style, obviously,
Yes.
as you can see. Everyone's hot. And yeah, so this is a story about our main character, Akane, and her boyfriend cheats on her with another girl he met in game, in an MMO, Forest of Savior. The only problem is that Akane also plays Forest of Savior to bond with her old boyfriend. And now she kind of just has a character on there and doesn't really know what to do with it. So she decides to log in thinking she was just going to farm some mobs just to blow off some steam after getting dumped. And while she's doing that, she meets a really weird, aloof guy who tries to ask her to have the location to farm. And then she says no, and he says something about, or she tries to essentially offload trauma dump, if you will, on him, and he goes, not interested, and walks away. And then during so then fast forward to during a meetup for the game where Akane wants to sort of dress up and show up there thinking that her ex was going to be there with his new girlfriend and to essentially make him jealous. She hears Yamada or someone in the crowd repeat the same line to someone else talking to him. I'm not really interested. And then she looks over and she realizes it is the same Yamada from in-game, who plays a very boring Afro elf character, with a very very neutral face. And it kind of goes from there. They get roped in because she wants to try to use him to make her boyfriend jealous. And then she kind of just drags him along for a lot of this. And they go out drinking, etc. And they sort of form a friend, it's not a friendship in the beginning, but then, it kind of develops from there as to how they become friends / how does Yamada develop feelings for her as the gamer shut-in that he is. Professional gamer, actually. Sponsored, even. Yeah. So what was I gonna say?
Looking over
this is very...
this is the looking over this, just a quick mention on the staff. This is at core the main Chihaya Furu / card captor Sakura team from Madhouse, including the director. plus some veterans. Obviously, sound director is Aketaka Jin, prolific, sound director slash director. Plus, I think they brought in the screenwriter slash series composition person for Kaguya-sama. So, who did Kaguya-sama? Excuse me. So, pretty good lineup, honestly, in terms
Yeah.
of the staff.
Yeah, honestly, it's kind of nutty because like director is the Chiaifuru and fucking like Ore Monogatari director.
You can kind of see that sort of like the audio visuals kind of lighting up in a
Yeah,
similar
yeah.
way too.
Yeah, no, it's definitely there, but it's kind of crazy because I hadn't really realized that before I was watching it, like before before tonight, looking up everything, and it definitely does show. I think this series is definitely way more enjoyable than I thought it would be. It has very light and accessible sort of gamer trivia and like MMO trivia. But it doesn't really get super in your face with some of it. There's usually like there seems to be like a post thing where it like kind of does get into it with like a little bit or something. Like at the end of I think episode 1, Akane is like it's going through her like making her character for the game, and she was like, "Oh, I want my character to be a little cuter," and she's looking at it and she's like, "Oh wow, all these hairstyles, like all the really cute hairstyles are fucking like loot box gotcha fucking hairstyles, great." And then she's like, "Oh okay, but they do have just like flat out, they have flat out hairstyles you can just buy too. All right, I'll buy like a pretty cute one just to make myself stand out a little bit." And then as soon as she like spawns in game, she realizes everyone had the same exact idea. And so pretty much everyone playing that like race looks exactly the same as her. And that, she's going to have to spend a little bit more if she wants that. If she wants that uniqueness.
What's really funny is
can you relate, Dark? Is this FF14 all over again?
It's not FF14, but it is very much a like
What are the little dudes called? They all look alike, but yeah, like I'm pretty sure everyone dresses their Lalafell the same, don't they?
No, Lalafells look pretty different.
Honestly,
the thing about them is they are a chibier race, so it's like like tops and stuff it doesn't really pop as much since everything has to be like the shape of the Lalafell essentially, like with their proportions.
What kind of reminds me of is actually the Forest of Savior. What it probably is a reference to is an old Korean MMO called Tree of Savior, which
Yes, I was gonna say
hold on. Are you
very
calling Tree of
much.
Savior old?
Yeah, I was gonna say Tree of Savior's not that old, bro.
Really? I have no idea about these times.
Just
Oh, it's 2016.
No,
Yeah,
but
like-
wasn't Tree of Savior?
Wasn't
Tree of Savior a?
Tree of Savior is the sequel to Ragnarok Online. That's
Yeah,
old.
I was gonna say
okay.
that's what it was reminding me of, like a Ragnarok like type game.
Yeah,
I
I thought
Tree of Savior
was
is
like
like a
Maple
direct-
Story era. Yeah, okay.
No, bro. Bro,
Sorry, I like these things are.
we're
like,
not that old, all right.
Yeah, because it's like, because these days I get mixed up 2018 games with like Dark Age of Camelot level shit because my memory is bad.
Now, if you said Granado Espada, then I'd get you.
Yeah, but Tree of Savior and like a lot of other Korean MMOs, for example, especially like the earlier ones, they have like a couple of looks. It's like this. For instance, if you at least in something like Maple Story, right? You have a couple of eyes that are like memes and like a couple of hairstyles that are clearly just like, shitty, right? Like buzz cuts or whatever it is, like military stuff like that, crew cuts and shit. And then you have a couple of stuff that like everybody flocks to. That's essentially how it works.
Yeah.
So it's similar to that, I think.
It is very much in that same vein. But yeah, I guess that does make sense though that Forest of Savior might be a direct reference to Tree of Savior.
100,000,000%.
Just because even like the way they describe it,
yeah.
the way they describe it too, in game.
Have you seen
like,
the logo, by the way? If you see
Yeah,
the logo in the
it's-
post art that you look
yeah.
compared to Tree of Savior,
Yeah,
is
like
the-
it is a direct fucking reference. There's
And
no shot. It's not.
The also what's kind of funny is that you know how a lot of times I complain about writers and stuff like that, like not doing research, right? Like if you're doing something like on cancer, or if you're doing something on mountain climbing, or if you're doing something on, this like random trivia on economics or politics or whatever it is, or math, like people oftentimes don't, like the writers and stuff like that, don't do that much research. So it kind of shows up as these like random holes in the episodes, right? But it's really funny, like when they get into topics like, for instance, the manga industry, like a manga about the manga industry, an anime about the anime industry, or an anime about Japanese games or MMOs or whatever it is. Like it's because the writers and like everybody involved have been playing that for years and so clearly know that like their games, right? It is their domain. You can see like the level of detail and like all of these like little things that they do, they catch, like again, just like the different costumes and like the, oh, like I have to get this like bridal dress, but it's only in like the gacha or it's in this loot box. It's the level of detail that they catch in these compared to like some other random premise like economics or politics or whatever. Is really funny, like the gap between them, where it's like for fishing it's like, oh yes, I catch big fish versus little fish. But then in this one, it's like they get like all these little nuances of like playing an MMO. Oh.
Yeah. So yeah, there is a lot of, there is some stuff like that, and again, it's I do enjoy it because it doesn't like essentially stop you and go, by the way, this is the gamer trivia now. Do you get it? This is what gamers do. Like they'll just have like a thing in game of Akane logging in and Yamada talking to their guild master and her just standing there and he's like, what's going on with like this guild? Like, why does our guild chest keep filling up with just fucking garbage? Like, who is doing this? And then, it turns into a bit that Akane didn't know that gear was just trash and flooded the guild bank and was just taking up space and wasting space. Which is, that is very much a thing you can do in a lot of MMOs, let alone that. I've done it in WoW, where, you just start throwing all your garbage in the guild bank, and then people are like, can you just sell it and just put the gold in, please, instead?
You ever just casually drop 20 mil into the guild stone, and when someone's like, who dropped this all in? You're like, I don't know.
No, I make it a point to say when I donate. When I donate to the guild bank, I throw it in there and I go, yeah, that's what I did. So the next time I need gear, you better fucking craft it for free, buddy, okay? But yeah, so that's been fun. So there are only 2 episodes out right now, so I can't really tell exactly how far it's gonna go with a lot of this. The second episode ends with a meetup, and I can't tell if they're gonna go for a full subversion of expectations or not, or what sort of story they're gonna tell here. Because the guild master is a very bubbly, like emoji using person that Akane thinks is a girl, and they play a female avatar, obviously, and they text her like in character. But I don't know if they're gonna go for the full subversion and it's gonna be this like other nerdy guy she meets on the way there who's like super into the game, because he drops a line that is very similar to what she said. So it could be that, and then we're gonna get, which I suspect will probably be the case, because then we're probably gonna get the male playing a female character like type trivia going for a little bit.
Like Netoju no Susume kind of stuff? What are you?
Yeah. I mean, just in general, I think we're gonna get like the MMO trivia of like, this is a dude who only plays like female characters. and like cutesy
Yeah.
female characters online.
Let's
And
you know
maybe
what?
maybe we'll get like an RP type thing too. Maybe. The jury is obviously still out because that is like for next episode, but it is kind of leaning that way. What were you
Let's
saying?
open up a can of worms. Do you guys prefer to play male or female characters in MMOs?
I only play female characters in MMOs.
What's your reasoning?
Armor
Gay.
looks nicer on them.
That's that's a valid point. Near
I mean, it usually depends, but like 9 times out of 10 in most MMOs, female characters just are better designed. Like, plus you also often have this shit. A lot of Korean MMOs where fucking classes and shit are like gender locked, which is fucking retarded in my
I don't
opinion.
count that. It's like whatever. But I'm like,
Yeah.
I think I think for me it's a lot of, at least especially in FF14, after like, because like I played a male character in FF14 for a little bit this expansion when they released male Viera, which I guess like is kind of cheating when I say that, but it's more so I guess for female characters in a lot of games you do wind up getting the best of both worlds just because of the sort of way both gender type armors work. Like in FF14, like you can rock the male sets on female characters and they look great when they make them like cross gender sets instead of just strictly male or female anymore. But for the other way around, not so much unless you're into that. Like it is very much like you start putting on the female armor as a male character and you are doing like drag. Like you have, or actually not even just drag, like, you know, you're putting on like dresses, but your fucking rippling muscles are showing through like at every fucking turn. And it's like not a neutral look anymore at all.
There was somebody who was playing, I think it was Lost Ark, I forget, and he was trying to put all like these different like customizations, and but he was playing this like muscular like male character, right? So he was putting like these like hair ribbons on his like he was putting like these hair ribbons and shit on his like character. He's like, wait a minute, like this this is shitty. What's
Yeah, it's
happening
like,
right
oh
now?
wait a minute, hold on now. All of my accessories I can buy suck.
Yeah.
So
I
See,
think
yeah, so
those
that's
are
kind
all
of in my
valid
thing.
points.
Also proportions and
Those are
asses,
all
you know.
valid points, but like the one exception to that, where because I also play female characters because they generally have better looking sets. The one exception I have to that rule is Monster Hunter. I think Monster Hunter female outfits are horrid. Male armor looks way better in Monster Hunter than female.
It depends.
I think I think some of them are
some
definitely
sets are really
cute,
nice, but
females do get shafted a lot in Monster
Yeah,
Hunter, I feel.
like the Kieran one, that's fine. I've seen the Kieran one, like the famous Kieran one, that's fine.
Yeah, okay, Coomer.
But then like the others, they all kind of suck. They all make your character kind of fat looking. So like, all right, I'll just wear my male armor. Yeah, might as well just look like a cool armor dude. But yeah, I just wanted to bring that up because that's usually the thing.
Yeah, and I do think it would be cool to I do think that the show is setting us up for like that sort of like conversation happening, and I think that would be pretty fun. Aside from that, there is obviously the romantic development between Akito and Kinoshita
yeah.
Kai.
So how's that like? How's the overall romance plot, main plot? I won't call it a subplot, but the romance plot, as well as the balancing of like the trivia of like the MMO and like how they're playing it. How's that proportioned out, and how is the general character development pacing structure in terms of like how episodic is it? How is the overall kind of development throughout the episode?
So far, it's not very episodic. So far it has followed through in the first 2 episodes. I don't see that changing for 3, obviously because they have the meetup, which means I don't really feel like it's going to change much at all in that
I
sense.
mean,
Like
it's
I think it is
it
going
is
to have follow
it is a
through. Like
shoujo romance. It's not really
yeah,
gonna be episodic.
it does not seem to be, since its focus is pretty split, and I think very well and very evenly. I do not think that we're gonna see like, like something resolve and then just have an episode that's like just like kind of a one-off that really doesn't do a whole lot and is just slice of life paired up with the MMO stuff. I very much do think that it is going to, keep trucking along, which is also good. I think that's really good for the pacing. As far as so far, like the actual how the romance is handled, I think it's handled pretty well. It is very shoujo, but it's not like it hasn't been like overly dramatic, and it hasn't been
Well, there
too
aren't very
like.
that many sources of drama, right? Because it's like
Well,
more.
yeah,
It's more of
the
like
source of drama is the breakup and how she like
yeah.
Akane is not really over her ex yet. At least for the first two
Mhm.
episodes, she wasn't. She kind of
Oh,
like resolves that in two. So
Okay.
there is a bit there's like a bit of drama with that. Obviously there's a bit of drama between her and Yamada just because Yamada is like very aloof, doesn't really
Yeah,
get involved with
exactly.
romance, is
Yeah, everything
incredibly fucking autistic. Like he's just
everything I've
autistic.
heard about this series, by the way, is it moves at a snail's fucking pace.
Not surprising because it took
So
literally 2 episodes for her to get over her breakup
Yeah,
and for Yamada to literally be like, I think I think I may like her or something. And I think this women thing might be okay.
yeah. At
And
the end of
so
the day, it's
if like
still like a
that's the two
will they
episodes,
won't
like,
they?
whew.
At
Well,
the
I
end of
don't
the day,
know.
it's still like a
I
will they won't they kind
it's
of like shoujo
from
series.
what
I feel
I've
like
heard,
it's going to
it's
be
not
like,
even a will they won't they. It is a straight up romance. Like they are just like macking on each other. Like,
yeah.
but the problem
It
is,
very much
it
seems like they
from what I've
will,
heard, it's so
but
fucking
you're not really gonna
slow.
do a whole lot.
Like it's like literally them just like staring at each other for like fucking chapters on end. Where it's like
Nice.
it's not even like a will they won't they. It's like when when are they going to actually fucking do something in its story? Um,
Yeah.
I turned off of this because I read the manga and it was slow, so I got turned off of it. Dark. Was this the story about? Was this grooming? Because I remember the dude
What?
was this series about grooming?
Is it just because he's younger
Yeah,
than her? I mean, he's younger than her
I've
by
heard
like a
I've heard
year. Like
I've heard.
he's a
Oh,
senior
he's
in
in high
high
school,
like
right?
he's final he's final year high school and I'm pretty sure she's first year college. So like he's a year
Yeah,
younger than her.
that's
And
called
I'm not
grooming,
going to get
dog.
into problematic age gap
Allegoria.
with a
It's like
1 year fucking
I've heard people
difference.
say it's
Like,
grooming, and I'm like, no, it's
yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
well,
fairly sure.
Secret 1 year grooming.
I think it is literally, if I'm not mistaken, that like when can you drink in Japan? Is it 18?
14.
It's probably 18 or something like that.
No, it's
Is
20.
it
It's
18?
20. It's because
Oh,
it's
it's
21
20.
here, then
Okay.
it's -1.
Oh, okay. So maybe she's 2 years older than him then, right? Because she can drink and he can't.
wow, that's twice as bad.
Yes.
Yeah. So
What's that?
she's 2 years older than him, which means the problematic age gap is fucking double.
She is
So
literally a predator.
yeah. So basically, this is a story about grooming and rape, as a matter of fact.
Yeah,
So
sorry
never mind.
guys.
Gaslight girl boss. So
Did they really sleep in the same bed together and not do anything? I don't believe it.
they didn't sleep in the same bed together, actually, was kind of the thing. He kind of just like put her there and then gamed all night.
Hell yeah. See that?
It's like
That's a
that
real dick to
you
check.
know that like TikTok meme or whatever where it's like the girl like closes the laptop in front of the dude. It's like that but in reverse. It's like yeah, the girl and then she but then you open the laptop instead or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like that. But
Yeah. The
okay.
But yeah, I think at least right now, like slow or not, it is definitely it's definitely been an enjoyable watch. If you want to just sort of even from like a guilty pleasure standpoint of just be like, yeah, like I'm in the mood for a fucking like not serious like shoujo romance that I know like isn't gonna like pop off with fucking like crazy drama that's just like, yeah, my fucking my like stepmother is back after killing my father or something. Like you're gonna be good. Like
Yeah,
you're
but
gonna be
My
good
you
to
you
my
go.
also
my
have to
old
keep in mind the series probably isn't gonna pop off with development either. So
Yeah, no,
what
exactly. So it's like you're kind of just watching this for like interaction and like, you know, you think if the audio visuals and the bits are cute enough, like that
Mhm.
I think
what
would be fine. Which I think is
well,
fine
hold
for
on.
like some series.
What was the
Huh?
meme? What was the meme? My what was it? My stepmother had sex with my stepbrother, so my dad drowned himself in the pool, and now I'm traumatized of water. What was that?
I have not heard that. But I
Isn't that
believe you
Metal
that
Gear
that's a
Solid 2?
title. What?
Wasn't that Metal Gear Solid 2 with Emma?
Dude, I have
You
no
don't
idea.
remember?
You're asking the wrong guy because I also haven't played
Here,
Metal Gear
help me
Solid
out here.
2 in like
I'm not
wait,
going
fucking
crazy,
I'm
right?
sorry. What the fuck
20
did you
years.
just say?
Don't you remember when? Don't you remember with Emma when Hal had sex with like their stepmother, and then Huey saw it and drowned himself in the pool, and that's why Emma's scared of water?
Um, I mean, didn't Emma also like almost drown or something? I'm pretty sure that was part
I
of her
think so.
backstory too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
Yeah. I'm not going crazy, right? That was the plot.
yeah, I mean, Otacon did do that.
Oh
That is
yeah, Otacon.
part of their family drama. But I mean, Huey was also a fucking loser before then.
Huey was cool before MGS5, and then
I
everyone hated him.
I don't think that's true, but
You didn't like
sure.
him in Peace Walker? I did. I thought he was cool.
I mean, he. I mean, in Peace Walker, he's just Otacon. He's
Oh yeah.
literally Otacon.
And then
Um,
5 came out, and I was like, oh, never mind.
I mean, the thing is, like, the fact that you know, I mean, I'm not gonna talk, but the fact that like Huey's first like even like name drop is him getting cucked and committing suicide in like a kiddie pool, like
We
he's not
didn't
really
even know his name until like
yeah
much
like he's not
later.
really
Like,
cool. Like
but what is it? But the lizard brain and the freaking what is it? Hatsune Miku voice program.
yeah, I mean that
Very
shit's
cool.
not true. Also, by the way, Kojima's a fucking hack for that too. But either way,
Anyways, going back to sorry, Yamada-kun.
Yeah, this
Any
series does not have that. So
yeah.
Oh,
that's a
okay. Just
plus
making sure.
in my book. Um, you know, especially again, I think this is definitely more so of a like kind of like guilty pleasure watch, you know? Like you could just pop it on and then kind of go. Like to me, like I wasn't really like to me like I was engaged enough to not be like bored.
Mhm.
Especially once I gave it a full chance and once I gave it episode 2, I was it episode 2 and 3? I definitely liked it a little bit more. And it grew on me a wee bit more. So yeah, I think if you're just looking for like a pretty relaxed watch, this is pretty all right. And again, it does have very solid audio visuals. I thought the sort of transitions with the more cartoony stuff are really cute and really nice. So I think that's been good too. I think it's had some pretty decent comedy. Um, and yeah,
But is it better than
no,
Nen-
I know where you're
is it
going
better
with
than
it. It's not better than Netuju. Like,
oh not that one. Oh. What was the other one? Uh there was another one where the dude's wife was was this person in his class.
what are you talking about? The one that like, so you thought that there were like no girls online or
That's
whatever?
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've never seen that, so I don't know. Probably, I
All
mean,
right.
for me, probably it's better because I was never really interested in that series. and like this
That
one,
series is kind of just like it's very. How do I say this? Like 50% of the reason, half the reason why you watch Netsuke no Yome is because of Hisashi, because Hisashi drew it, and the other half is because it hands it up. That is like the only two reasons why you watch that series. To be honest.
yeah. To me, that series seemed like a
Macarena?
lot. You know what I mean?
I mean, it's
Sorry,
just ecchi. Like,
Don't you like Hidaka Arena
Yeah.
and Ichi Michi Mao? I do.
That has nothing. That is not that much to do with why I watch or
he hates Ichimichimao.
Wow,
Yeah.
he hates VAs.
I hate gravure models. But yeah. Anyways, any last words on the series, Dark?
Nah. I think it's fun. I think it's good.
Okay. Pretty good. Thank you very much. And last but not least, Nier. What do you have for us?
Ooh, yippee! So, I watched Jigokuraku. Bang
Mhm.
boom. This is
Yeah, do you know how many TikToks I've seen of Gokuraku and how what is it? What is that stupid meme with the where they use like AI enhancement to make them move? Weird. I don't
Like
know what I'm
60
talking about.
FPS thing.
60 FPS and they have weird movements.
oh
Uh,
yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking about? I don't know what it's called.
The like fan cam type shit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. There's that. I mean, there's also
Weird
like
ass TikTok.
700 million like. Which I mean, yeah, dude. You know what? We could do it right now. Like, let's react to the opening of Jigokuraku. I think. Wow, it's crazy. It's super sick. There you
Yeah.
go. 1 million views, please.
Yep. Yeah. So Jigokuraku, Mappa series.
Mappa.
Yeah, manga original. It is a shonen. It is Kimetsu no Yaiba 2. Wow. This is
Except
probably
the opening by Sheena Ringo. Oh my
yeah,
god.
wow. I'm gonna be honest. The opening by Sheena Ringo is probably the best part of this series.
I can see that. Yeah.
I'm
Wow,
coming in with the hot takes here.
wow, you are not a true Mappa fan. Get the fuck out of this podcast.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, this is probably I'd say either the biggest or the second biggest series of the season.
Mhm.
I'd say definitely the biggest for the Western fan base.
Yeah, for sure.
Largely because it's a Mappa series, and it's a shonen as well, right? So, yeah, the main premise is, do I even really need to read this? Like, man, like this show is so simple. So the main character, Gebimaru, he's a ninja, right? He's a ninja. He kills people, and he's got the nickname Gebimaru the Hollow. Because he kills people and he's edgy and he doesn't have emotions and he's badass.
Just
But
like
then
me.
he gets married. And he comes into contact with a female woman, and he realizes, wait a minute, I have emotions. And then he doesn't want to kill people. And then
Well, lucky for him, ninjas didn't really do that all that much. So
yeah, except he
so
does it a lot. But he wants to leave his ninja village, and then his ninja village says, "Lol, Lamau, we're gonna betray you." And then he gets betrayed, and then he goes, "Oh, I don't want to live anymore." And then he meets Sagiri, the deuteragonist of this series, and she goes, "You do want to live," and he goes, "Wait a minute, I do want to live." And then the Shogun says, "You're a criminal, so I'm gonna kill you, unless you go and find the elixir of life on this weird, like, fucked up monster island." And that's the show, basically. And then you have Monster of the Week.
Nice.
The show
It's
is
on an island. It
how
shouldn't
did
be from
they-
the moon.
Simply kill the Shogun.
Yeah.
How
I
did
mean,
they
he
proportion
could.
out the monster of the week versus the character development stuff?
So there's 3 episodes out right now, right? And of the 3 episodes, it takes them 3 episodes to get to the island. Pretty much all 3 episodes so far have been Gabimaru literally being like, "Damn, I do not have emotions. Or actually, I do have emotions. Actually, I don't have emotions. Actually, maybe I do have emotions." And that's pretty much been the show so far. He's
Nice.
killed a couple people.
Just like me.
And he's been like, I don't like it when I kill people. And then the characters around him have been like, wow, that
That's
takes
deep.
that takes a lot of that's a lot of emotional strength right there to be like, I don't like killing people, but actually I'm going to kill people anyway. That's a lot of that takes a real man to do that. And that's pretty much been the show so far. And then in episode 3, they arrive on the island. And by the way, there's other people on the island, and they're trying to kill each other too. So that's cool and original. So he kills a guy on the island. And then another guy on the island says, all the other people on the island are probably going to want to kill you and each other, by the way. And then they get attacked by a monster, and then the episode ends. So yeah, it's pretty engaging. It's pretty original. I'm being
So it's just
sarcastic there, by the
AUD.
way. But yeah, it's basically just like Sengoku era like monster of the week. You know, he's bad guy. But maybe he's not a bad guy. All he wants to do is get back to his wife. Maybe kill
Oh, hi.
maybe kill the immortal ninja leader of his clan or whatever. It's really generic, man. Like it's painfully fucking generic.
Who is this made by? I forget. It's like I think Dark said it was written by like a yaoi artist, right, or whatever.
I don't know. Yuji
Wait,
Kaku,
is
story and
that the
art.
series?
They did
No, I think that's being
Ayashimon,
directed by that.
and Prison Princess Evil Heart. I don't know what that is. But that's for the manga. As for the Mappa like staff, right?
Who is it?
The director is Kari Makita. He's directed the Kakegurui spin-off OVAs.
Did
He
he bring
worked
the rest of
on
the team along with them, or what's happening there?
I'm not too sure. He worked on the Attack on Titan. Like season 4. He was episode
Yeah, it
director
looks like
for a few
like the
episodes.
season 2 for Kakegurui. He brought some
Yeah.
of the people there.
Okay,
How
but
come I'm bald now?
He's
you
worked
glazed over
a
the
little bit
most
of Banana
important thing.
Fish. He worked on a little bit of Yuri on Ice. A little bit of Sarazanmai. He directed some weird like movie thing. Like some weird BL movie OVA thing that was like 20 minutes long.
This is not the guy. This is not the series with the that you were referring to, though, Spire. I think that was
This is Ayashimon. I don't know what that's.
no, but I'm
about.
saying I think the one
yeah.
that we were referencing was
Heavenly
that might be
Collision?
My Home.
No,
that
it's
might
not.
be My Home Hero
My Home.
that did
Oh,
that.
is it? Okay.
Maybe it's another bigger name series, but it wasn't this one. But Nier, you glazed right over setting manager for episodes 1 through 11 for Zankyo no Terror.
I mean,
And
setting
honestly,
manager isn't like
Oh,
fucking
right.
real.
kind of fucked up. Kind of fucked up that you just passed right over that. Just saying.
Yeah, I mean, setting manager isn't like a notable thing. Like,
Also, production
I think
manager
the more,
for TQ season 2 and
the
3.
the funnier thing is
like,
production manager for 2 seasons of TQ, right? But
quote unquote manager.
Yeah,
it's
what?
like
Yeah, like
like
homie, what are
managing
you
TQ
managing?
is like fucking whipping two hobos with a belt,
Yeah,
right? So
exactly. Trying to keep the rats from fucking cleaning
yeah,
out the sink.
No, he held up a sandwich on a fucking little fishing line and was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
you almost got it.
um,
Couple more frames for this season, and you may just get another piece of pepperoni."
yeah,
Just-
animation director Satoshi Otaki recently did some stuff on Yasuke, Dororo. He worked on Motherfuckers, which was a really well animated movie. He also did the recent Berserk Golden Age Memorial Edition stuff, along with chief animation director Ryota Arima, who did, what was this? The Gotobun movie, awesome stuff.
Oh, nice.
Akebi,
Classic.
Akebi-chan,
Oh, okay. I think Chan isn't bad.
Summer Ghost.
Who's
And
Akebi-chan? Was that JC Staff cast or what?
let's see, Akebi-chan was Cloverworks.
Oh, okay.
So, but yeah, I mean, there's in terms of story, there's really not much I can say. Like
The ghost story.
this is as generic as shonen gets, right? It's
Yeah.
really edgy, it's really bloody. So, you know, if that's something you're into, then fucking go for it.
AKA the standard Mappa fan affair.
Yeah. Audio visually, again, this is Mappa. I think this is kind of standard, like par for the course for Mappa. It's not really too standout. Granted, the first 3 episodes aren't really that action heavy. There is a fight scene in episode 2 that's really, it kind of like comes out of nowhere. It's really pretty well animated. It's quite brutal as well. You know, brutal in a way that's like not like needlessly edgy either. Because like the like setup for the fight is that it's, you know, it's like a bunch of criminals with like their hands, like all their hands are bound. And it's like the Shogun is like, yeah, not all of you can get to the island, by the way, so you guys are gonna need to thin out your numbers like right here, right now, kind of thing. And
Yeah,
it's sort
what's
of
the
like
name of the island?
it's like Paradise Island or something. I don't
Okay, just making sure.
yeah, I don't remember. But yeah, like the idea is like they sort of back the main character into a corner, and it's like, you know, you either need to kill these guys or we're gonna kill you. And okay, well then I guess I'll kill these guys. And he like rips a bunch of dudes' throats out. He like bites this dude's throats out. He like crushes a dude's
Dang.
neck with his like foot. It's pretty brutal. And it's
Help,
quite
I
bloody.
can't breathe.
I actually don't know what block this is airing on, because it's pretty bloody, and it's like not really censored at all. But yeah, you know, there's really honestly not too much for me to say about this show. It's really as generic as it gets. If you like edgy, bloody shonen, battle shonen shit, it's probably up your alley. Monster of the week.
The review. Can I read some of the reviews for this? Overall, Hell's Paradise is a must-read for fans of action, adventure, and dark fantasy. Its stunning artwork, complex characters, and thought-provoking themes make it one of the most exciting manga series in recent years. Absolutely a masterpiece. And then the next one is, damn, this anime is crazy. Exactly the type of genre I was looking for. Besides, the story is fresh and feels new. I feel like one could easily get connected with the characters. What? Did you just say like the guy rips the head off or whatever? Just like...
Yeah, I mean, so I will say the only thing I will give this series a bit of credit for is, so you know how most, like pretty much 99% of shonens, right? It's like the main character's motivation is like, I want to be stronger so I can be stronger, you know?
Yes.
Like I want to be the strongest. The main character in this show is kind of just like, I want to see my wife, you know, like I want to get back to my wife. so I'll do whatever is like asked of me so I can get back to my wife. Which is I guess a little bit more of a it's not like the most original motivation. But like within the genre, it's I guess a little bit of a fresh like breath of fresh air to be like, oh, he's not just like aiming for the top, right? Like he kind of just wants um like what's in his own self-interest, right? Um so like that is one thing I'll give it credit for, but in terms of all of the other characters, like in terms of the other characters that are like actual characters in this show, which by the way is 2 of them, maybe 3.
I was gonna say, I'm assuming there's a lot of fodder going on here.
Yeah, there's I mean within like the first 3 episodes, you can look on like the mall here, like let's see, let me go down the list. Within 3 episodes, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them, at least. Yeah, I think 5 of these characters are dead. So, that's pretty cool. I don't know. I don't know if they'll get like revived due to like the magic of the island or some weird shit, but
Are they killed off in a way where it's like it's pretty obvious that like the author is just saving what I always call like the bonsai tree technique, where it's like everybody except for like the characters that are obviously central to the plot are just getting killed off? Is it kind of like that?
So it kind of does like a it's sort of there's a few characters that they sort of introduce that are kind of like red herrings, I guess, where it's like so like in that fight scene that I was talking about earlier, right? Like there's a shitload of characters. Like there's a lot of fodder characters in that scene where their designs are very obviously like, oh, like these guys are just gonna die here and now, right? But then there's quite a few designs that you can kind of just see spread along the cast that are like, okay, like these guys are making it for sure, right? And they're like name dropped and stuff, and then it's like, yeah, like this guy, this is like, like fucking Bimblor the monk or whatever, right? And it's like, yeah, he's a big deal or whatever. And then he dies in like the next scene, right?
Okay.
So it's
Do you think this is gonna be a Momotaro's kind of story?
no.
Because they're going to an island of demons, right? To find the elixir.
Yeah. I mean, the idea is like to find the elixir of life or whatever that like grants immortality.
Tell me when there's gonna be a red Oni and a blue Oni.
I mean, there's already like this big. They showed like this weird big purple dude.
That's red and blue.
Yeah, true. But yeah, like that. I will say the monster designs in the show are pretty cool. They've got like these weird mosquito things with like kind of like a pained like Buddha face on them. They're kind of freaky looking. They've got these like weird centipede, like giant centipede monsters where like what would normally be like a big like sharp teeth or whatever on like a typical monster, they just have like human fingers.
Nice.
Just kind of creepy.
And the spiders. You gotta go with the spiders and the centipedes.
I don't think they've shown spiders, but there's almost guaranteed to be spiders, right? There's always spiders in shows. The big purple dude has like baby hands coming out of his like eyeballs. He's got like this weird like his hands are like bound together. Some of the monster designs are pretty cool. But yeah, overall like it's definitely going to be like generic monster of the week kind of stuff.
But at least that looks good, right?
Yeah, I mean it looks solid.
Yeah, if I mean the Mappa stuff didn't look solid, they would be getting hate mail.
Yeah, like it's it's no Chainsaw Man, obviously, because I'm sure many of Mappa's animators are fucking like worked to the bone already, and I'm sure many a quota were not met in the recent months. But yeah, like it looks solid. It's not like stunning, but it looks pretty good. But yeah, like I was saying earlier, in terms of like actual like characters with any sort of motivation, there's like 2.5 so far, right? Like there's the main character, and then there's the female lead that is accompanying the main character, and then there's the main character's wife, right? Like that. Those are the only like actual characters so far. Pretty much everybody else has been like a cartoonish caricature of a bad guy, or they are dead, right? So yeah, like I personally don't really have high hopes for this show. It's pretty much just gonna be a like
This is 12 episodes, right? This isn't 24.
Miles says 13, so yeah.
I mean, whatever. Yeah, 11,
Yeah.
Does
12,
that
13.
include the first? How long was the first episode?
Standard length.
Oh, because when they say 13, usually means the first episode is pretty long. That's
Yeah, first episode was standard. So
because I know what Oshinoko's first episode was like. What, an hour?
That's not. It was an hour and 20 minutes, but that's not like
Yeah.
typical. Well, Oshinoko also had technically it was episode 0 and 1 combined at the same time.
Just like Fate Zero.
But typically I feel like when shit says 13 nowadays, it just means like straight up like there's just 13. Like that's
Yeah.
it. It's not nothing special about it. You may get again an episode 0 and 1 combined to be 40 minutes, but that's about it.
But yeah. Anything else near? I guess.
yeah, I mean, like I said at the beginning, the OP is really good, right?
Yeah. I mean. Yeah.
Yeah, the
I don't
OP
think I need to mention again for
yeah,
like
the OP is
11th
done
time.
by Millennium Parade and Sheena Ringo. Obviously
Shinnaringa
Sheena
famous
Ringo is a legendary musician.
Yes. Yes.
Oh yeah, then name one song.
Literally one song. But it's like.
One song that's not new.
That's not new. Bro, you're putting me on the spot here.
What?
Okay.
Here, there's the one.
You can't just I don't remember like a fucking specific song
There's
names, dude.
the Crime and Punishment one, right?
Yeah,
I think.
Sumi
Yeah.
Tabatsu's. That's like the one everyone knows.
Yeah. But
Yeah. In general, she's like again legendary, as Nier said.
yeah, I mean she's a legend. The OP is also very well animated. But yeah, I would say, to be honest, the OP is definitely where the show peaks. To be honest,
Wait, she was part of Tokyo Jihen? I didn't know that. No one told me.
yeah. Overall, I mean, it's not like bad. It's just it's really as generic as it gets for shonen.
Yeah. Very non-descriptive.
Yeah, it's inoffensive, but it's not like stellar. Really, it's not really doing anything truly remarkable. I'd say overall probably 6 out of 10. I mean, I would give it a 5, but like Mappa is at least giving it a relatively nice coat of paint. So there's that.
So you do
Here's the
not think
main
that the
character better.
8.45 on Mal
What?
is justified?
8.5.
No,
Yeah,
Yeah,
this
better
is
8.45.
than the main character in Cabaneri. I remember people like that guy.
I mean, the main character in Cabaneri wasn't really the main character in Cabaneri, though, right? Because
Yeah, it was
Cabaneri,
that one girl.
yeah, it was the princess, right?
But
It
Nier,
was like
was so
it was kind of
cool.
like Guilty Crown, with the one girl.
Yeah, kind of right. Where it's like
Yeah, with
the
Inui
main
being
like the
girl.
main character in Cabaneri was kind of just like there,
Mhm.
while the princess was sort of just like that was where the character development was going, right? Whereas with this, the character development is definitely shared, because they both have like the like emotion fucking like the core like theme that this series is very much going for is like tackling your emotions like head on and like not running from them or whatever. as like because
Emotions are the true
Japan
elixir of life.
like Japanese writers are very good at writing stories about tackling your emotion in a healthy manner. But yeah, um, I I don't even I don't even remember what you asked me. Like, is the main character better than Cabaneri's? I mean, the main
But
character is
I've
a
seen
character, so I would say yes.
because I've seen a lot of TikTok memes and YouTube
It's
shorts
an
about the
actual
main character
series
being
instead of
super hard.
Cabaneri.
Because remember what he did? He nearly asphyxiated himself to become a cabane. That's what they were called, right?
I don't.
I don't
I
remember.
don't even remember, dude. That show was so bad. But yeah, I mean, he's certainly edgy enough to rival him, I suppose.
I want to die. Well, wait, I was just kidding.
Yeah, that's
Very
his
cool.
that's his character arc so far. But yeah, it's not stellar.
All right. I guess if that's the again, that's about it for Jigokuraku. I think again, unfortunate. But obviously not everything that Mappa makes can be top line. Although as much as we wish it would be, maybe a little bit. I think the main problem was probably the original source material more than anything else. But hopefully, it's a good filler while we pray for Mappa to tackle the next big hit. But yeah.
Yeah, Chainsaw Man Season 2.
Chainsaw Man Season 5. But yeah, so thank you very much, Nier, for covering Hell's Paradise. Again, the newest adaptation by Mappa. This is a manga original, Hell's Paradise Jigokuraku. Everything except for the story is pretty decent, audio visuals, so on. But obviously an anime can't survive very well without the story, so again, a little bit unfortunate. But yeah, thank you, Nier, again. And we are going to move now on to the news. Just a lot of different company news here in the past couple of weeks. I'm going to move through them pretty quickly. I think the the sort of, I guess, the most notable news is that DMM, Internet Service and the Game Developer DMM, established a new company, anime production company. So they're creating an in-house kind of anime production studio for themselves. Although, didn't they already have DMM Pictures? Yeah, they do have DMM
Yep,
Pictures.
they do.
So they're trying to kind of create. Again, it's similar to IG Port, and indeed, the former production IG executive, Kuroki Rui, is serving as the new company's president, CEO of DMM's new studio called Q. So he will serve. The company aims to provide a higher quality of animation in response to the growing popularity of anime worldwide. Again, this is similar to the trends that we predicted and we have been talking about, right? The bigger companies are starting to kind of muscle in and create their own in-house studios because they no longer want to be they don't even want to give that extra penny to the anime studios. They would rather
Yep.
have shitty in-house studios instead of being like, we actually have to pay Mappa contract money. We have to pay A1 Pictures contract money. What the fuck is this? They'd rather just take it upon themselves. And on top of that, many people are taking advantage of the harsher economic times and the weakening model of the Japanese animation industry to swallow up, right? Manglobe that went bankrupt, that got, I think, swallowed up by a lot of it got swallowed up by, I think, Gainax, right? I forget where Mango Studios went to, but a lot Manglobe definitely went bankrupt. One of the famous companies that did, and then obviously the most famous bankruptcy of recent times is Zebek, right? Zebek that was under IG Port, and then I believe their studios and employees mostly got shifted over to Gainax, right, from IG.
I think so.
And then a bunch of other stuff, obviously IG Port and the sister companies, as well as the um, companies underneath the IG Port sort of megalith, is kind of under there. I think like a lot of recent collaborations between Kadokawa, Shueisha, Kodansha, stuff like that. Shigakkan they're oftentimes combining to create their own animation project with their own teams. Um, a lot of this sort of merging and acquisitions happening, which is honestly not good for the anime industry. The more power that these bigger publishing companies and these bigger production companies, Sony and Warner Bros. And all these companies have, the more control that they have over their own processes, um, the less likely they are to give any anime industry people money, right? They're not going to give, obviously, their in-house people money, right? Because they have control over the whole process, and they're like, if you don't like it, go the fuck elsewhere, right? But that now they're also not going to give the anime studios money because they're just, oh, we're going to either we're going to own you, we're going to literally acquire you, or we're just going to have our in-house. So I think, dangerous path in my. But yeah, Production IG's former CEO is going to head this new company Q under DMM. DMM, I believe, already has another animation label called DMM Pictures. I don't know whether this is just this is. Oh, so the DMM Pictures is mainly a licensed business as part of anime production companies. Q will be their actual anime studio. So this is their in-house studio that they're making. And DMM Pictures is their licensing department for animes. So again, not a good step forward, but we'll see. What is good is something that is actually good for the anime industry instead of whatever Crunchyroll says that they're doing is helpful for the anime industry, which is not much. Anime studio TMS Entertainment, I forgot what they've done recently. They announced on Monday that it has instituted a new salary increase for both current employees and new hires, with the former receiving a 30% increase in monthly salary and the latter receiving a 24% increase in. New hires now receive a monthly salary of 260,000 yen, which is around about $1,900 $1,900 US dollars. So that's around what 22,000 24,000 USD a month or a year, sorry. Which is, in terms of US it's minimum wage, but in Japan it's still not like good, but it's still like at least livable, right? As long as you're not like stuck in the Tokyo area trying to buy
Yeah.
some or trying to get housing. But yeah, the studio added that it is able to accomplish the salary increase due to halting some advanced bonus pay to employees last year, and folding some advanced bonus pay into regular bonus pay. The new salary for new hires is above the Institute of Labor Administration's 2022 average for prime companies in the Tokyo Exchange, which is priced at around 1,600 euros. So, in my opinion, again, this is a good example. I don't know how that'll affect the company's competitiveness within the current environment, unfortunately. But I think doing this, obviously having the studios lead some of the charge by being like, okay, we'll pay some of the people more here. But also, again, having the government, because obviously the studios themselves don't have less and less power over the years, right? Because the production companies are taking over and they're creating their own stuff, and the studios are becoming weaker, right? Especially after COVID. I think the studios and the artists putting pressure on the anime production committees and the publishing companies and the government regulating them and forcing Sony, Warner Bros. And Kodansha, Shogakukan, Shueisha, places like DM Pictures to be like, hey, you guys better cough up money to these anime studios so they can pay their employees. If they don't do that sort of regulation, I think it's definitely going to be a lot harder. Definitely, this is a good example going forward, and actually paying their workers more. Good news on that end.
Well, at the very least, TMS is going to be swimming in fucking applications.
Yeah, exactly. They are one of the few I think they can do it because they can. They are more of like a main, like they have licensing and like they are participating in a lot of like, big brands in terms of like anime production, like they're doing like Lupin stuff. I think they did work with like some Godzilla stuff, right? So they're always like working with like bigger brands.
Yeah.
It's not like they're scraping the barrel trying to do like isekai series here and there. Studio Ghibli announced on Tuesday that co-founder Suzuki Toshio returning to the position of the studio's president. Suzuki replaces Hoshino Koji, who resigned from the dual positions of president and chairperson at the end of March. Blah blah. But yeah, the Shukan Jose talked about Hoshino's retirement. The report cited the studio's quote unquote internal turmoil as a major contributing factor. According to an anonymous source interviewed by the tabloid, Hoshino objected to Suzuki's favoritism towards the woman in professional matters. He allegedly admonished Suzuki to quote unquote properly separate his private and public life. Although the source claimed that there were other factors leading to their falling out, this issue was the big trigger that prompted Suzuki to quote unquote remove Hoshino from his position as. So yeah, very interesting things happening over at Ghibli Studios. I think there's going to be. This is probably. I mean, if this is what's on the surface, right? I'm sure in a few years, maybe not even a few years, in like a year or two, right? There's going to be more falling out from this studio. That's going to be like, we're going to be like,
Oh
what
yeah,
the
I'm
fuck is
sure some
happening over at Ghibli?
some real fucking dirt is gonna come out.
Yeah. If the surface level stuff is like, yeah, they literally replaced, like, this president got replaced because there was some stupid, like, sexual favors or like favoritism, whatever thing. It's like, if that's the surface level, then I'm afraid to see what's going to be, below the water in the icebergs. Ghibli Studios not in the best of places right now. A little bit on the award side. The Japan Cartoonists Association, or JCA, announced the winners of the 52nd Japan Cartoonists Association Awards on Monday. Endo Tatsuya's Spy Family manga won the grand prize in the comic division. Nishida Toshiko's Fushi manga de Toku Onna wo Matsubaria manga won the cartoon division. Matsuo Hiromu's Magazine Rondo book won the new manga division for being a work that is worthy to the name manga, but is not part of any specific genre. Each grand prize includes a gold plaque, medal, and 500,000 yen, or about 3,700 US dollars in prize money. In addition, Tsukushi Akihito's Made in Abyss manga received the Manga Kingdom Tottori Award. Takeuchi Osamu's self-published Villains manga won the Manga Kingdom Tosa Award. The late Hijiri Yuki's Lock the Superman won the Mex. These awards include a silver plaque, gold for Mex, medal, and 200,000 yen, which is around 1,600 US dollars in prize money. So, if you guys are interested in those series, please do check them out. And again, congratulations to the winner. And last piece, just like interesting bit of news. The Mainichi News website reported on Saturday that according to Chinese movie data app Maoyan Professional, Shinkai Makoto's Suzume, also known as Tojimari no Suzume no Tojimari film has earned more than 720 million yuan, or 105 million US dollars, as of 3 weeks after its opening in China, and has become the highest selling Japanese anime in the country of all time. So this is actually pretty, because it's like, usually when you think of like all-time like records for anime, right, outside, it's pretty much all like Ghibli stuff, for example, right? Like Kimi no Na wa is like a recent kind of thing, but most of the time it's like Ghibli, maybe like some Pokemon stuff, recently Demon Slayer, maybe stuff like that, right? Similarly, and again, I guess on the Korean end too. Similarly, the official Twitter account for the film revealed on Saturday that Suzume has sold more tickets in South Korea than any other Japanese film. So while like all these things are, manga is becoming popular, or manga and anime popular in the West as well. But I think what's also interesting is that Suzume and Slam Dunk as well, the recent Slam Dunk movie, has shown a huge amount of popularity in China and South Korea. And I think that's a real predictor as to where the anime industry and audiences are kind of forming and will be making their money in the next decade or so. I think yes, like Japan will still like Japanese audiences, Western audiences are still heading to the trend, but as much money as there already is in terms of like the anime industry in China and Korea, I think it's still a growing market for them. And Japan and the studios are already kind of subcontracting and doing collabs with like uh Korean studios and Korean media companies and Chinese media companies and stuff like that, right? Like Ray Liotta, for example, it's like the manhwa, Korean manhwa, right? Thunderbolt Fantasy, the Chinese Japanese collaboration. It was like a hybrid company that Urobuchi worked on. Stuff like that, I think will be happening more in the future. More of these collabs, more of these, working with Bilibili, working with whoever, right? CJ Entertainment, stuff like that. We'll be seeing more of those, and I think we'll be seeing Japanese companies turn more to these audiences to cater to them well, because there's a lot of money to be made in these way more than before. I think there were localization efforts before, but I think now there will be like full collaboration, full trying to work with those. So it'll be interesting to see. One last thing just before we head off to our shoutouts callouts. I guess two little things. First, the Gotobu no Hanayome quintessential quintuplets manga gets another season of anime, which like I wouldn't mention except can the anime has this title, and it has Gotobu no Hanayome, and it has this swirling mark. And it took me a little bit before I realized, oh, it's like that new musical symbol, or not new musical, but it's that musical symbol. But I forgot what it was, and I checked it out, and it's the symbol for a turn, which is like you play a little bit up and down. So if you have a note that's like this, if you have like a G note, or
Fire, that's a
yeah, if you
tilde. I don't know what this music
it's
term is.
yeah. So
I
if
know
you have
FF
like a
is
turn,
fortissimo, but like
but you
the other
read
one?
it as two, apparently in
What?
the title. Yeah, I don't ask me about how Japan
Hey
makes
man,
these
you're the
anime titles.
music sommelier. You tell me.
No, I know it's like a fortissimo, but they read it as two because it's like it's supposed to look like a two. Like the anime title
Huh?
is literally read as Gotobu no Hanami 2, apparently. But I was surprised too. I didn't know that was a thing.
It
I didn't
doesn't look
know
All
anything
right,
like a two.
someone needs to inform the Japanese that not all languages and writing works the same way. Like where you could just like,
And also,
you could just throw shit out there and be like, yeah, but you read it as two. Like, no,
yeah.
not how it works.
Also, this nobody has told me how to read this yet. So I'm just gonna say Gotobu no Hanayume turn, I guess is how you pronounce it. But I don't know how to pronounce this title yet officially. And it's like, why do you do this? Like, why does Japan first it was like the Oreimo dot, then it was like Nisekoi colon or semicolon. Was it colon or semicolon? It was colon,
It's
right?
colon, yeah.
Yeah, Nisekoi colon, and now it's fucking Gotobu no Hanayome with like the turn symbol for it's like, what is wrong with you people? Like, just make a regular title. I don't care if you call it like tres or like whatever language you just put a 3 at the end of it. Stop.
3 in music language.
Like the most I will tolerate is what something like Symphogear did, where they had like they did like Symphogear, and then it was like ZX or whatever, right? And then it was like, what was the title? Fucking
They have like a G there too, right?
yeah, and it's like
Oh,
it doesn't really.
Well, Symphogear goes Symphogear G, then I think
Symphogear
Symphogear
G,
GX,
and
then
then
they
AXZ,
do AXZ, then
and then
XV.
XV. Yeah, I
So
was like,
fucking dumb, dude.
even that, like up to that point, I can like I can be like, okay, like that's almost tolerable. Kind of like whatever. If you guys really want to do that, whatever. This shit, like, especially because we're a podcast, right? And I'm usually the one like hosting, emceeing, kind of like a lot of and reading a lot of these titles, right? It pisses me off when anime what is wrong with you people? Stop doing this. Just put a 3 at the end, please, for the love of Christ, man.
Or just
But yeah,
add more exclamation points. Okay.
yeah, like working! Exclamation! 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 Oh my god, I hate Japanese anime, like like companies so much. I can't believe that shit. Anyways, that and the other one, which was also kind of funny slash of note, was that a couple days ago, there was a Florida middle school who removed Florida and Wisconsin
Sorry,
school
hold on, real quick. Is it a mordant?
Mordant?
Is that funny too? Like a mordant?
No, it's a turn. You search turn and then music symbol.
Okay, are you sure?
I am pretty sure.
You're the one who called them the small A. Like,
It is. It is. It is.
I don't drink wine. I don't know what that term means.
But yeah. Anyways, going back to the last bit of news, there are Florida and Wisconsin middle schools in the United States that have removed the Assassination Classroom manga from its library last month after receiving complaints from certain groups, from parent groups. The series is facing challenges in other states as well.
Do they
yeah,
still
that
have,
didn't happen.
Wait,
Yeah,
really?
that is no. I'm just saying, like, the experiencing pushback from like parent groups. No shot. It's got to be some fat fuck like online. It's got to be.
Oh,
There's no
you
way.
mean like
Like,
the complaints were fake? Yeah.
no, I mean, yeah, it not fake. It's just got to be some like fat fucking loser who's like, I don't have kids, but I'm gonna go to a fucking parent teacher like association anyway,
No,
and
apparently
I'm just gonna
serious
complain.
No. Look.
It's like, bro, like,
According
what
to
parent
Jennifer
is like assassination classroom? And, like,
no,
I
here,
know
here,
about
here.
this series.
Here, according to Jennifer Pippin, chair of the Indian River County chapter of Moms for Liberty. Wait, Moms for Liberty is one of those like fake scam parent groups, right? Isn't that a thing? Like
I would
Moms for Liberty
Probably.
are just like, it's like that weird like conservative like scam group where they're just like complaining about random shit like CRT or whatever. Isn't that what it is? But yeah,
Oh, it
according to
sure is,
Jennifer-
baby. Find a
Yeah,
chapter near you.
Yeah, according to Jennifer
boy.
Pippin, chair of the Indian River County chapter for Moms for Liberty, that like conservative group who like complains about CRT and shit like that, the books were inappropriate considering the recent school shootings in the U.S. Pippin added, "We don't want students to think it's okay to kill their teacher." Yeah, that's what's the problem.
Yeah, that's what that's what's
happening.
happening.
Guns.
That's what's happening.
Maybe the extreme normalization of whatever.
Guns.
Whatever.
It's the
Whatever.
extreme normalization of yellow alien tentacle teachers.
Yeah,
and
maybe
I think it
we
needs to stop.
Maybe if the yellow alien didn't pull out maybe if the alien didn't pull out a gun to shoot everybody, we wouldn't be having some of these school shootings
Yeah,
right now.
listen, I'm thinking arm all teachers, arm all students, doubly arm and then have the teachers try to teach the students how to kill them. I think that's just the natural end goal.
If the alien
Just saying.
didn't have superpowers and tried to kill people in the classroom, maybe we would be having less schools, mass shooters.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think they've done it. I think they've really figured it out.
No, my God.
Yeah, I don't know, man. These fucking freaks finding something else new to make a wedge issue about, I guess,
The organization's national communications director, Kristen Huber, stated, "We should all be able to agree that violence towards teachers and explicit sexual content and assassination classroom is not something that schools should be glorifying or promoting, especially on taxpayer dollars.
Yeah, dude. The taxpayer dollars to have like one fucking copy of Assassination Classroom in the back of the fucking library
The
that
taxpayer
students
dollars,
don't even
the
know is
taxpayer
there.
dollars where teachers have to spend money out of their own fucking pocket to buy school supplies for the fucking students.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The,
As we all
the
know,
taxpayer again, the tax also, and again, because
The real
I'm pretty sure my
solution
high
is,
school had
censoring
copies
books.
of manga, and it's like you have like one copy of like random manga, like just in your school library for no fucking reason, and like even fans don't look at it because they don't even realize it's there. Like, I
It's
can
just
almost
like-
guarantee you, no one even knew that they had a copy of fucking Assassination Classroom in there. Like, no one knew.
as we all know, the Buffalo Shooters manifesto, right? Or the kid that shot up the black church, right? His manifesto was infamously a copy of Kaguya-sama. So checkmate.
That's true.
I guess. Yeah.
No, it was actually
very
a copy
unfortunate.
of Death Note, so I think they should probably get rid of
Yeah.
that. Actually, it's a note
But yeah.
and it causes death. Like, kind of fucked up. And I
You
don't
say
think they
that,
should
literally
remove it.
has the death
you
of the
say
name,
that, you joke about that, but there have literally been stories of like parents trying to get Death Note banned from libraries as well. Like, it's literal unironic, like satanic panic type shit.
Yeah, I agree. It's awful
Ah,
and it's
dude.
scary.
But yeah, it's very unfortunate that these sorts of like very ignorant viewpoints and groups are spilling into the manga anime sphere as well, and hopefully it doesn't spread too much.
Yeah, look, I just
Yeah.
don't think that we should be promoting all this death. Okay. I think these
Or
I think
these
these
aliens,
kids,
like, what the
yeah, or
fuck?
these aliens. I don't think we should support that. And I think these kids need to, instead of looking at all this death, open up a Bible, you know?
And also learn how to shoot a gun.
That's also true.
If we had an AR-15, maybe
Again, I'm equal opportunity here, okay? I think we should arm all teachers and arm all students, okay?
If they hate books so much, just ban all books. I love Fahrenheit 451.
That is the end goal.
That's also true. I think we should ban all books, no more reading, and I think the library should be turned into ranges.
If only Light Yagami had an AR-15.
True.
Yeah. Anyways, that was pretty much all it for the news, and we are on to our shoutouts and callouts. Everybody here gets one shoutout and one callout each. A shoutout is something that you want to praise. 5 out of 5. Great reviews on Yelp. Can be any one person, place, or thing. And call out is the exact opposite. Rage 0 out of 5. Rant about something. And again, it can be any one person, place, or thing. And we start with Nier. Shout out, call out, please.
Shoutouts to Resident Evil 4 Remake. The game's kind of good, I think.
But Nier,
I think
does it
It's pretty
replace
good.
the original RE4?
It's pretty good. It has soul. It is not soulless, actually. And also, Melchley Graham is very cute. As for callouts, so about, what was it, like a week ago, I think? I saw this tweet, this awesome tweet, truly spectacular tweet, of this clip of Kimetsu no Yaiba, right? Demon Slayer, the anime, the anime of all time.
Demons? Yes.
The
record breaker of
and
legends.
I'm gonna link it here, in the DM. I want you to watch this, and I don't know who the fuck is working at Ufotable, like who the fuck is directing this show, but they need to be put down. Because this is probably one of the worst directed scenes I've ever seen in my fucking life, dude. Like
Oh,
this
dude, you
looks
you
Is this
don't
like an
know. You
AMV?
haven't
horrible.
seen.
What are these
My
shots?
man,
This
You
is
have
a
not
real
seen-
cut from the show.
You
Why
haven't
is it? Why
seen
is that?
anything yet. Okay, that whole
Why does that keep
sequence
post? Is this like
fucking
an
sucked.
AMV? Bro, this looks like a Western like anime
No,
convention
listen.
AMV.
When
you
you
know what I
are
mean?
demons,
No, I think you mean this looks like a
pulsing is
fucking
when
Bollywood
demons and
scene,
demons
dude.
is when pulsing.
Bollywood, yeah.
Mir, you do not know how far deep the rabbit hole goes. That you basically have to sit through that for like fucking 20 minutes with the first
Dude,
episode
like,
of this
I
new
don't know.
season.
Yeah,
You
I don't
need
know
to
who
see
the
it.
fuck is.
It's
I don't know who the fuck is
psychotic.
directing this, but like they need to be stopped. Like
What is going on?
Like we
man?
can skim after, like I can show you some of that shit, but like it's so much worse than that. It is beyond, like, to the point where like I was in shock, where I was like, they thought that they were like cooking when they did this, but they're not.
yeah, it's
Like,
just it's
they're
constant
not
flashes,
cooking.
random speed ups and slow downs.
It
Oh,
legit
dude,
looks
don't
like
worry,
a
it goes upside down.
anime convention AMV from like early 2000s. It is
Yeah,
not good.
it's horrendous. So I don't know who like I don't really know who out there is still watching Tsunade, but personally, I couldn't get through I couldn't even get through season 1. But yeah, I
You
just wanted
liked
to
it.
call I just want to call out that scene because that's definitely one of the fucking just definitely one of the worst scenes I've seen in terms of like directing in an anime in like a long time. And it like outside of like the studio being like made of fucking like stray dogs or something. But yeah, that shit was like fucking
Nice.
really, really just painful to see.
Okay. Thank you for your shout out call out. Toast.
My shout out? I don't know. Who do I shout out? Who do I shout out? Give me an idea.
Shout out, fucking Mr. Beast.
Why? What do you do?
Never a terrible.
He ended transphobia, obviously.
You mean Sunny V2 ended transphobia?
Sunny V2, Sunny, I'm pretty sure Sunny V2 actually, ironically, in some ways, Sunny
was very
V2
centrist,
is
bro.
kind of pushing people away from transphobia. So like that's it's kind of happening like that.
He's the real life Thanos.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of.
He's centrist. He's super centrist, bro.
Oh yeah, he was really centrist when he was like when
Yeah.
he said when he said with
he's
conviction that Chris's
becoming,
feminization was from his marriage.
He's becoming the
Yeah.
villain for a greater cause.
Yeah, it's true.
If only the trans dude just still went back to his wife, bro.
Yeah,
True.
if only.
Anyways,
Instead of
so
doubling down.
What's your shout out?
My shout out is going to be. I'm going to shout out. I'm going to shout out voice actors that sound like Uesaka Sumire.
There's only really Uesaka Sumire.
The way Uesaka Sumire sounds like in what's the series I covered? Rokudo no Onna-tachi. She sounds just like Marina Inoue.
Really?
When she
I
does
guess
her Toka
it's-
voice, I'm like, okay. I don't know.
Yeah, that's sort of what I mean. Again, that's sort of what I mean by her. She's been trying to tamp down her unique like intonations and do like a little bit more of like a vanilla kind of like voice, because it's like before like she has that like sort of curl at the end, right, with her to her voice, that like lilt upwards at the end to her voice that is very, very unique to Isekai Simulator, right? You can hear it in all of her previous roles. But like and that's sort of why she gets like a lot of like young Ojo-sama, right? Um but I think recently she's been trying to tamp it down a little bit, and again, same with somebody like Ogura Yui, right, where she has that very like whispery, like huh kind of like voice, but now she's trying to make it very much more like an older, mature role. And I think both of them are doing a pretty decent, having a pretty decent amount of success. It's just that obviously, taking away that unique intonation is a double-edged sword. Definitely
Yes.
flexible.
My call out. I don't know. Stuff. You know what I'm gonna call out?
What?
Jerma. I hate that guy.
It's
Fun.
true.
Damn. Can't believe he
Alright.
spent 40 minutes on a Resident Evil 4 puzzle. It took Vinny 2 tries. I hate that guy.
All right. What about? All right. Thank you very much. Shout out, call out. And what about you, Dark?
Yeah, I'll do a quick real shout out to Mr. Beast. Because you know, he's a pretty cool guy. He's been doing some cool stuff, you know, cured blind people, then went on to like what did he do? He bought like shoes.
Yeah.
Bought shoes for kids in Africa. That was pretty cool. He also took like a $1 and a $500,000 plane flight apparently, which I haven't seen, but I'm actually really interested in that. I mean, it's not like that was like a good thing, but you know, it's cool.
Dark loves clickbait.
Yeah. And then also, you know, it was very funny to see anyone tweet the words like, because it's like, yeah, that's cool and I support it, but at the same time it's just weird to see someone write out like, yeah, all of this transphobia is making me really mad. It's like, well, like yeah, it's just really weird that you put it that way. It's just like what
I
what
can't believe this transphobia is happening. Ick.
Yeah, it's like, what the heck is this? It was literally like you know, Mr. Beast finding out about transphobia. Like, okay.
Whoever can stop being transphobic can wins $10,000. It's gonna be his.
I mean,
It's like,
I'm
listen,
sure...
I don't know when you guys started this stuff, but it really needs to stop. It's like, well, it's been going on for a while. But
I'm sure if his brand wasn't at risk, he would use much more colorful language. But you know.
Yeah, but it was just such a funny tweet to me, and like just seeing that, I was like, it's so weird. But it is very cool. It is very funny. And it is very funny to see, you know, that guy, Sonny V2, get his ass cheeks absolutely obliterated. Because, yeah, that video is freakish. And, yeah, I think for my call out, oh yeah, so part of my 2 weeks, I'm gonna call out gamers. I'm gonna call out gamers and not understanding things. Gamers,
So
I learned over I learned over 2 weeks.
No way. Are you saying gamers are fucking stupid?
Yes.
Dark hairy
No way.
young gamers.
Yeah, capital G gamers. So it was a couple of things that I got into over 2 weeks. Which was a major extent of people thinking that like this new essential like monthly reward system for WoW, where it's like it's basically like a mini battle pass track where you do missions that like give you EXP to fill up a bar, and while you fill up the bar you get like currency to spend at like a cosmetic shop. And the missions could be like, you know, do kill like however many raid bosses this month, kill dungeon bosses, or like slash like hug certain NPCs or something. Like it could be like anything like that, which is very battle passy and stuff like that. And it's monthly. And at the end, you also get a reward. And the first month was a mount, and the second month was because they just added this like a couple months ago. And the second month was a armor set that anyone could use. Now this month was 2 swords that are themed around nature, and like the nature / like the moon goddess. Except only problem is the class druid that's centered around, nature and the moon goddess can't use swords. And the only classes that are really gonna be using swords is 7 out of 38 specializations. Might. And so I was like, that's kind of dumb that the end of the month reward is like that restrictive. And if they're gonna do that, they should probably add more weapons to it to cover all classes, because the monthly reward should probably be something that anyone and everyone could use. And apparently, I'm a sick freak for suggesting that. I should be grateful because I'm getting a little treat, a little prize, a bonus, if you will, and it's free. So it's free. And that was the big thing that a lot of gamers were telling me, that this monthly subscription-based game, the new monthly reward system they added, is just 100% free, and I should not ask for anything more. So gamers don't understand how like subscriptions work, and that costs money, and that when you need to pay to access something, you are paying for that thing. And all of the content in WoW costs money, as a matter of fact, because you have to pay money to engage with it. But gamers don't know that, evidently. So that was fun. The second thing was gamers also don't know what rewarding gameplay is. And this was more of a personal one. This was like a conversation I got into with a guild member. And I know that they mean well, but I did see other people like on Reddit and Twitter and stuff and YouTube that don't know what rewarding gameplay is. So World of Warcraft has a system where they have random affixes in dungeons. Those random affixes only give you negative things. They only slow you down. They are only detrimental. They will make enemies do more damage. They will summon pools that heal enemies when you kill them. Things like that. My argument was gameplay should be rewarded. So instead of doing that, it should be when you do the mechanic correctly, maybe you get a little damage buff or something of the sort. And gamers literally do not understand what that means. So that was cool. Where they think, oh, you get armor at the end of the dungeon, so why do you need a rewarding gameplay? And it's like, well, no other game does this. And no one can seem to wrap their head around the idea that, like, no roguelite even does this anymore, where it's like, there's no game out there, like, even like Hades, or like, if you look at like Sekiro, which I think was the best example, was like, imagine a world where in a game like Sekiro, your reward for perfect parrying was just being alive, like just staying alive. There's no enemy stamina break, anything like that. That's basically how WoW is, and people can't wrap their heads around it. And it sucks, and it's frustrating. So that was my 2 weeks with gamers.
2 weeks with gamers sounds like a B-rate kind of like horror / comedy flick, honestly, at this point. But anyways, thank you, Dark, for a shout out call out. I guess my turn is next. Shout out. Should I shout out? There's not. I can't think of too much to shout out, but
So over.
yeah, it's over. But
All right, good podcast, guys. Let's go.
yeah, I don't. Yeah, what is it? I did like a lot of the like Korean, like there was a lot of VTubers and like kind of faceless Korean streamers who did like the April stuff, and that was fun. I did like Suisei's April Fool's stuff as well. So in general, like the April Fool's stuff that people did, the Korean Japanese streamers did, and the YouTubers did, was
So
pretty
you
good.
like Comet-chan more than Suisei? That's kinda sus, bro.
Kamen-chan is pretty fun. The reason why I expected Kamen-chan to be a little bit more funny is because the whole point of doing things like that is so you can see the streamer break down from the cringe, right? But Suisse actually held it up very well, so actually it turned into a lot of respect for her. But in general, I did like that.
You
Beyond,
want ultra cringe? You watch Marine's debut of her, what is it, the Second World VN RPG Maker game that she made. She hated it.
I, yeah, I mean, I need to watch some of that as well, honestly. But that was my shout out. My call out is to the actually there was like a entire like block or like city area ish like blackout 1 or 2 days ago where it literally pretty much like I think somebody like bumped into a pole or did something stupid and it blacked out the entire like area except for like the hospitals and stuff like that, which obviously have emergency power. It blacked out the entire area for at least a couple of hours um, during the night. And I was like, oh, like it's pretty shitty, but I guess it's just my apartment. So I like went out for a drive, and it was literally just like everywhere, like the freaking the traffic lights were out, like the Walmarts and all the other like
That's good.
stores were all down, and it's just like, are you serious right now? Just
That's
like,
that's good infrastructure, I think.
yeah, I know. I'm just like, you guys can't be serious. Like, it's one thing if everything's flooding and it's like the middle of winter and like the pipes are cracked. That's one thing. But you guys are literally having this blackout in the middle of like April. Like, it's like what is wrong with you people? So that's my call out, honestly. Very unfortunate. But yeah, that was my shout out call out. And with that, we are finally done with our first episode for Spring 2023 review. I think most series are right now are in their episodes 2 and 3s. So my guess is, including this episode, we are going to be able to do 4 total for this spring season. I think we might be able to do one more depending on how the schedule goes. Our podcast schedule is a little bit at odds with the spring season and how it got released. But we are definitely going to do at least 4, then do a preview, and then go into the summer season. Again, if the summer season is a little bit delayed, we might do an extra episode, but we'll have to see. But yeah, if you guys have any suggestions on what we maybe should be covering, please do let us know in the comment section or wherever. If you do like what we do, we stream our podcast live every other Saturday, starting from 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time over at twitch.tv/4PlayAnimecast, numeral 4. We talk about the latest and greatest and Japanese animation, manga, light novels, web novels, so much more. So check us out here on our Twitch VOD, where we have our stuff recorded, as well as on YouTube, where we have sections highlights recorded as well. Check us out here, check us out there. We have updates on social media on Facebook, 4PlayAnimecast, as well as on Twitter at 4PPAnimecast. Again, all with the numeral 4. So for more updates, information, when we're streaming, when we have our videos, so on, check us out here, check us out there. As always, we'll see you next time.